Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Can I be heard? Give me a Yahoo up in the chat if I can be heard. Family, let's work. Let's work. Let me know if I can be heard. Give me a Yahoo up in the chat. Let's go ahead and eat. Throw down. I can be heard. All right. Let's work.
Canaanite people predate the arrival of Israelites by roughly 2 millennia. The Canaanite people predate the arrival of Israelites by roughly 2 millennia. The Proto-Canaanites arose around 3500 BC as a Mesopotamian-based country and settled in sites such as Ebla, from which we derive the Ebla archive, and other places west of the Euphrates. Canaan is a region in the ancient Near East during the late 2nd millennium BC situated in the southern Levant. The setting comprises regions of Phoenicia, Philistia, and parts which would later be known as Israel. Canaan had significant geopolitical importance in the late Bronze Age Amarna period as the area where the spheres of interest of the Egyptian, Hittite, and Assyrian empires converged. Knowledge of Canaan from archaeological sources is almost exclusively from artifacts dated to the period in which the region existed under the hegemony of the New Kingdom of Egypt. Since the Egyptian Empire controlled this region during that time, much of our knowledge from archaeology comes from the Amarna letters and other documents of governance which record information from the time of Egyptian rule. Much of the primary source knowledge of Canaan stems from excavations in areas such as Tel Hazor, Tel Megiddo, and Gezer. The late Bronze Age state of Ugarit, what is now Ras Shamra in Syria, is considered a quintessential source of Canaanite culture and religion, from which was found the Ugaritic texts and other artifacts of Canaanite culture. The Israelite religion is one which originated out of these Bronze Age polytheistic ancient Semitic religious traditions, specifically the Canaanite religion. It exhibits a syncretization with elements from Babylonian religion as well as some Egyptian influences. The religion began as a henotheistic offshoot of the Canaanite worship of El, along with his secondary epithet, Yahweh, which refers to El Yahweh Sabaoth, often translated as Lord of Hosts, which likely means El who creates the armies. El, who was the supreme god of the Mesopotamian Semites, later became the chief god of the Hebrew Bible. In Canaan, he was known to be the father and the ruler of the divines, as well as the creator. The god of the Jews evolved gradually from the Canaanite El, who was the high god of the pantheon, to the Israelite El, who is likewise the chief god of the Hebrews. The essential qualities of the Canaanite El were retained in the god of the Hebrews, along with memories of the theogony of El and the gods. Over time, the Israelite group of Canaanites converged the sky gods El and his son Baal Hadad, and El was conflated as Yahweh. Early on, the Israelites also worshipped Yahweh along with his wife Asherah, who was originally the consort of El in the Canaanite tradition. For a long time, scholars of the Hebrew Bible concluded that a major difference between the God of the Bible and the gods of other traditions was that so-called pagan gods had sexual lives and consorts, while Yahweh did not. But in the late 20th century, archaeologists uncovered two intriguing inscriptions from two Middle Eastern sites. The inscriptions were blessings not only in the name of Yahweh, but also his consort Asherah. Over time, there was a push towards monolatry, the worship of one god among many, but not necessarily denying the existence of other gods, which made it so that the Israelites' focus on El Yahweh compelled them to make it appear that there was a greater divide between Yahweh and the older god, Baal. Thus, in order to build up and emphasize the distinction between Yahweh and Baal, the Hebrew text goes to great lengths to make Yahweh's conflict with Baal apparent. This marked the trend of Israel rejecting its heritage. Although the Israelites apparently broke off from Canaanite tradition at some point, the essential elements from the Canaanite sources were maintained in the Bible, such as the same dwellings and epithets of El. El resides on Mount Zaphon, and in certain texts he dwells within a tent just like the tabernacle described in Exodus. Titles of the Canaanite El were preserved in the Hebrew tradition, such as the following: Elyon, which is Most High; Rechem, which is Bull. Also, El was called the god of patriarchs, a warrior, and El was called Olam, which means eternal. These were the names for the Canaanite El, and they became the names for the Hebrew El. Interestingly, Babel, relating to Babylon, is a conjunction of Bab and El, meaning gate of the god. But it was not singly El from which Yahweh evolved, but also Baal Hadad, the Canaanite storm god. Indeed, also the name which Jews substitute for Yahweh lest they utter it is Adonai, the term from Canaanite Adon, which means Lord. It's a synonym for Baal, which also means Lord. The connection between Yahweh and Baal is undeniable. We find narrative instances of the Israelites understanding of this connection in parts of the Hebrew text, such as Exodus 32:8, the crafting of the bull by Aaron and the Hebrews as Moses was on Sinai, in which it is said, "These are your gods, O Israel." We see in the Israelite religion precisely what one should expect to see from a religion evolving from and assimilating religions surrounding it. In numerous passages, Yahweh is depicted as any ancient Near East storm deity, the most notable of which is Baal Hadad. Like Baal, Yahweh is a warrior who descends from his mountain home, riding on a chariot of clouds. His voice is thunder, and his weapon is lightning. The earth quakes, and the skies release rain at his command. In primeval times, he asserted his authority by defeating the sea, becoming the ruler of the skies. Exodus 15:3 reads, Yahweh is a warrior, Yahweh is his name. Numbers 23:22, El, who brings them out of Egypt, is for them the horns of a wild bull. Numbers 24:8, El, who brings him out of Egypt, is like the horns of a wild bull for him. He shall devour the nations that are his foes and break their bones. El of the Canaanites was also called bull and warrior. Here are some examples of parallels between Baal and Yahweh as attested to by the Ugaritic literature in the Baal cycle and the Hebrew Bible. Let me tell you, Prince Baal. Let me repeat, rider on the clouds. Now your enemy, Baal. Now you will kill your enemy. Now you will annihilate your foe. You will take your eternal kingship, your dominion, forever and ever. And the Hebrew Bible reads, Behold your enemies, Yahweh. Behold, your enemies perish. All evildoers are scattered. Your kingship is an eternal kingship. Your dominion is forever and ever. The parallels with Baal extend also to the motif of the mountain where Yahweh revealed himself. There was thunder and lightning and a heavy cloud on the mountain, and Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because Yahweh had descended upon it in fire, and the whole mountain trembled violently. The same imagery is used of Baal's theophany. Then Baal opened a break in the clouds. Baal sounded his holy voice. Baal thundered from his lips. The earth's high places shook. The association of Yahweh as a storm god is also echoed in Judges chapter 5, verses 4 through 5. Yahweh, when you went out from Seir, when you marched from the highland of Edom, the earth shook, and the heavens too streamed, and the clouds streamed with water. The mountains shook before Yahweh, the one of Sinai, before Yahweh, the God of Israel. And Psalm 104, verse 3, Yahweh sets the beams of his chambers on the waters. He makes the clouds his chariot. He rides on the wings of the wind. There is also a shared emphasis on the seventh day, for it was on the seventh day of Daniel's incubation rite in the temple that Baal intercedes for him and El blesses him, just as it is on the seventh day that Yahweh called to Moses on the cloud-covered mountain. Indeed, the characteristic origin of Yahweh in the roots of El and Baal is preserved in Hosea 2:16, which reads, Yahweh says, You will call me my husband, and no longer my Baal. Frank M. Cross suggested in 1973 a potential connection with the Egyptian deity Ptah, who is given the title Dugiti, Lord of Gath, in which Ptah is called Lord Eternal, and that it may be this identification of El with Ptah that led to the epithet Olam, which means eternal, so early and so consistently with the Israelites. Another similarity is that both the gods Ptah and El create the world through their very will, and not through a divine battle between gods. The Jews also seem to be oddly concerned with circumcision, which serves as another connection to Egyptian culture. The earliest historical record of circumcision comes from Egypt in an inscription of the tomb at Saqqara dating to around 2400 BC. While circumcision might have been done for hygienic reasons, it was for the Egyptians part of their obsession with purity and was associated with spiritual and intellectual development. These connections would all make sense considering the Levant was politically and culturally dominated by the Egyptian Empire in the time the Israelites are thought to have arisen by the end of the Late Bronze period. However, it is probably not until Iron Age I that a population began to identify itself as Israelite, and the Israelite, or the earliest documented instance of the name Israel, is from the Egyptian stele of Merneptah, around 1208 BC, in which it records that Israel is laid waste, and his seed is not. The earliest possible occurrence of the name Yahweh is as a place name in the Egyptian inscription from the time of Amenhotep III, who reigned from 1402 to 1363 BC. It refers to the land of Yahu, which is the land of the Shashu, being nomads from Midian. Thus, the worship of Yahweh seems to have originated in areas south of Israel. The name Yahweh, which can take on various forms in the Semitic tongue of Yah for theophoric purposes, for example, Adonijah, which is Adon, master, and Yahu, referring to Yah or Yahweh, contains the core name Yah. Along with being the chief and ruler god, Yahweh shares unequivocal resemblances to the Sumerian god Yah, who is culturally synonymous with Marduk and Baal Hadad. Yah and Yah, or Yahweh, are virtually the same god. The Torah draws heavily from other ancient Near East influences which pre-existed it, incorporating and modifying them. Things such as the laws of Eshnunna, Hammurabi, Middle Assyrian laws, and Ur-Nammu. The covenant theme, which runs throughout, is known to be directly related to the Hittite suzerainty contracts and the vassal treaties of Esarhaddon. One example of the covenant theme from outside the Hebrew Bible lies in the Phoenician-inscribed Arslan Tash amulets, which refer to the Eternal One's covenant, a council of holy ones, and the sons of El. Interestingly, there's also a 5th century AD Christian amulet from Cyprus which associates Re and Osiris with Yahweh and Jesus in imagery on one side and a palindrome text on the other, stating Yahweh is the bearer of the secret name, the Lion of Re secure in his shrine. This is interesting because the throne of El is depicted with features of a lion, and the earliest possible instance of El in an artifact depicting him with 2 lions. The Israelite accounts of creation contain clear allusions to ancient Near Eastern cosmogonies. The first verses draw upon the Babylonian epic Enuma Elish, which means when on high. Both begin with a temporal clause, the book of Genesis beginning with when El created the sky and earth, in which also nothing existed but primeval waters, male and female, fresh and salt, Apsu and Tiamat respectively. The god Marduk manages to create the world by destroying Tiamat with wind, ripping her asunder and forming the sky and the earth from her carcass. Genesis applies the same styles and motifs of its ancient Near Eastern setting, only demythologized, that lacks any theogony of the gods which the texts discuss. The memory of the battle narrative, though, is preserved in other parts of the Tanakh. There are still significant differences, however, between typical ancient Near East religious traditions and the Hebrew Bible, the most remarkable feature being the suppression of mythology in the Hebrew tradition. There is no biography or theogony of Yahweh. While the Bible is not mythology, it does indeed contain myths and legends. The polemical inversion of the Hebrew narrative as opposed to other myths, is apparent in the emphasis on human importance and dignity created in divine image, which is lacking in the narratives of their ancient Near East neighbors, where humans tend to be menials. Human affairs are the theme of importance in the biblical account, and thus the absence of mythologized stories of gods is substituted with mythologized stories of humans. In that sense, the often suggested question, is the Bible trustworthy in depicting historical events, is a wrong question, to which the answer would be no. A better question would be, is the Bible trustworthy in depicting historical opinions? And the answer to that is an obvious yes. The text of the Torah is constituted of at least 5 sources as described in Wellhausen's theory. J. Yahwist, written around 950 BC in Judah. E. Elohist, written around 850 BC in Israel. D. Deuteronomist, written around 600 BC in Jerusalem. P. Priestly, written around 535 in exile of Babylon. And R. Redactor, which is the final edition of the combined sources. Although Wellhausen's dates have been disputed, and any of the sources could be decades, if not centuries later. In fact, the Hebrew Bible itself explicitly admits this sort of phenomena when it cites prior sources at many times. For example, the Book of Jasher, the Book of the Wars of Yahweh, and the Book of Iddo the Seer. This is not necessarily a modern idea either of Wellhausen's, considering the fact that similar analysis was concluded by scholars such as Baruch Spinoza, Thomas Hobbes, and John Estruc in the 1600s. In J text, Yahweh is the most anthropomorphic, forming man from clay with his hands, enjoying walks in the cool of evening, stitching clothes for Adam and Eve from animal pelts, enjoying the food Abram cooks for him, speaking face to face with humans, being bargained with, and so forth. J is particularly interested in the traditions of Judah, and it supports Judah against Israel. For example, suggesting that Israel acquired its capital at Shechem by massacring the inhabitants. And J supports the priests who descend from Aaron, who were established in Jerusalem, the capital of Judah. While Wellhausen placed the date for J text at around 950 BC, a crucial study by H. Schmid demonstrated that J was conscious of the prophetic works of the 7th century BC, while the prophets did not know of the traditions of the Torah, meaning that J cannot be earlier than the 7th century BC. Many current theories place J even later, such as that of Russell E. Gmirkin. E text is characterized by its virtually exclusive use of the plural term Elohim for the deity, along with its use of the phrase fear of God. It holds a rather abstract view of the deity, and strangely uses Horeb instead of Sinai for the mountain where Moses received the laws. E text, favoring Israel, represents traditions from the northern kingdom of Israel and exhibits a fascination with its heroes such as Joseph and Joshua, speaking negatively of Aaron, for example, claiming that he led the Israelites to worship the golden calf. Before the redactor edited it, E text told the story of Abraham and Isaac, in which Abraham is not stopped and Isaac never appears again, suggesting rather that Isaac was sacrificed. And the early tradition, recorded in the Midrash, still preserves the version of the tale in which Isaac was killed. While the J text depicts the anthropomorphic God that is involved with humans on earth, the Elohist source frequently involves angels, for example, telling of a ladder of angels that leads up to El, whereas in J, this is simply a dream in which God is above the location. E-text also goes to excessive lengths to depict the Egyptians negatively, and it depicts Moses as threatening Pharaoh and bringing the plagues himself. The priestly source, P-text, is unique among the other sources and is characterized by significant contradictions with them. In P-text, Aaron and the priesthood have an exalted status, and there is no sacrifice ordained by God at Sinai. Ritual laws and origins of shrines are stressed, as is the role of priests. Unique to P is the assertion that only descendants of Aaron were allowed to officiate in the inner sanctum. P's God is majestic and transcendent, and according to P, all things occur because of his power. Also unique to P is that the deity reveals himself in stages, first as Elohim, then as El Shaddai to Abram, and then as Yahweh only to Moses and those following him. In Exodus 6:3, Yahweh reveals his name to Moses, saying that no one had yet known this name, and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob only knew him as El Shaddai. But according to J-Text in Genesis 15, Abraham clearly knows the name of Yahweh, and Yahweh himself says, I am Yahweh. P is significantly concerned with holiness, meaning ritual purity, and Israel is posited as a priestly kingdom and holy nation, with elaborate rules that are aimed at preserving this purity. Most scholars agree that P source was written either during or after the exilic period around 530 BC. The Deuteronomist source, although found mostly in Deuteronomy through 2 Kings, underlies much of the Hebrew Bible. The Deuteronomistic history originated independently of the books Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, and the history found in the Book of the Chronicles. Scholars trace all or most of it to the 6th century BC. It tells of a story in which a book of the law was supposedly found during the reign of King Josiah, and which caused the king to embark on a series of religious changes. And it has been suggested that this source was manufactured in order to validate his program of religious change. Deuteronomist theology is conceived in the form of the suzerainty or covenant between Israel and Yahweh, who elected them and requires them to live according to his law. Under this treaty, Yahweh has granted a conditional promise to the Israelites of the land of Canaan. The interpretation asserted in D-Text explains Israel's successes as the result of obedience and its failures as the result of disobedience. Contrary to the other three texts, in which independent shrines or priesthoods are represented as legitimate, D-Text insists on a centralized worship around the temple in Jerusalem. Lastly, D-Text asserts all Israelites as brothers and sisters, and each will answer to God for his treatment of his neighbor. These four texts were combined at 2 points in time by editors or redactors, who appear to have kept as much as possible from the source documents. Firstly, by combining J and E to form JE. The redactor of JE is thought to have added very little, only a few phrases in the attempt to remove serious contradictions and maintain the flow of the story between the texts. The main exception to this is in the story of Abraham sacrificing Isaac, where the redactor added an angel stopping Abraham and replacing the boy with a ram. During the Babylonian exile, JE was unified with P and E by a different redactor, which many theorize to be Ezra during the time of Cyrus the Great. And that, as we have it, is the combined sources of the Hebrew Bible.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. If I can be heard, please give me a 9 up in the chat. Press 9 in the chat and hit enter if I can be heard. Bless up, infinite rising, grand rising, creative rising to all you brothers and sisters. Believe that and know that. All right, y'all see the title, Nazarene edition, part 96. We going into the gods of Canaan and their mortal puppets. Right, so as usual, before the main course meal, I like to go ahead and throw an appetite out there. Right, not an appetite, an appetizer, should I say? Get the creative juices flowing. You know what I mean? And that was interesting. That shows there's a lot of mixture going on with the Hebrew culture, the Hebrew understanding. All right, a lot of mixture going on with what we know as Israelites and Canaanites. Right, not just amongst each other and marrying one another, but also in worship. There's a lot of mixture going on. That's why it's important and essential for us to know the character of the Creator. You must know his character, you dig? Because even a false god or evil angel can appear to you in the name of whoever you call holy, Ahia, Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yah. Yeah. Transform themselves into what? Ministers of light or angels of light and all that. So it's not the name of any of whatever you call on it. It's not in the name. All right. You got to get down to the character of the creator. And that's how you can tell the difference. Because the evil angel can take on the name of any god in the heavens or in the earth. You understand? They've been doing that. That's easy work. Easy work. You see what I'm saying? So it comes down to the character of the creator. Feel me? You must know that. If not, you could be one of these puppets being stringed along by one of these makeshift gods and deities. All right. So we're gonna address the matter. We're gonna address it. How y'all doing in the chat though? Bless up. I see y'all in the chat. Bezel the Israelite, my brother. Bless up. Bless up, King. Ema Robbie Dobson, Kanaya El Badia, bless up. Kilau Lamkaz Do, bless up. Jehu M, Miss Amazing Wonders, Roger Washington, Ray Yale, Kiani Yasha Allah. I see y'all in the building. Bless up. Sheeproof Faith, 144. Natural Sweet Tooth, Yosef the Nazarene. Bless up to all my brothers and sisters. Believe that, know that. I see y'all in the chat. Okay. Okay. Peace to the gods and goddesses, my brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of the Creator. Believe that, know that. Selah Shalom in the house. Peace to the God, my beloved brother. Bless up. Shout out to all the faithers, the Nazarenes, the Essenes, Creator Gang. Y'all already know. You understand? Bless up. All right. Well, let's work. Let's work. Y'all ain't, come to hear me exchange fancy and smooth soliloquies, right? We here to work. We here to work. I said, is he tweaking or what? Dang, we here to work. I don't know who tweaking. Dang. Hope not. Bless up. Bless up. I see y'all in the building. Bless up. Good to be seen. All right, let's work, though. Let's work. All right. Bang. Bang. Let's work. All right, we're going to go to the book of Amos. All right, let's work. Because based off history, it seems as if there's been an amalgamation, a mixture. All right. How you know you ain't one of these puppets being strung along by one of these makeshift gods, deities, friend as if they are the creator. Now let's go to an important point that gets overlooked. All right. Let's deal with this. Let's slow down. Let's not molly cuddle. Let's not play around. Let's deal with it. Let's deal with the text. All right. Minus the emotion, and let's just deal with what's right in front of us. All right. Amos 5:25. Have you offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? Yasher Allah, Yasher all. We not fighting over names. All right. But that's a question. All right. That's the essence of creator moving through a man named Amos, Isaiah's father, actually. All right. And the question the creator is asking through this prophet who is capable of hearing the voice. You understand? Was all that offering in the wilderness for 40 years? It didn't say 4. It didn't say 2. It didn't say, oh, that's just when Aaron messed up. That one time he made the golden calf. You dig? Like you would have that argument if the 40 years wasn't on there. It just talks about the 40 years according to the biblical narrative. Israelites, our forefathers and foremothers, wandered for 40 years according to the biblical narrative. Facts. But again, the question is asking, were the sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness, was that to the creator? Was that to the creator? See, that's a question being asked. You see that? We read this and really don't stop and critically examine what it is we read. And this is a question being asked by the Most High through one of his prophets, Amos, the father of Isaiah. Were the sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness for 40 years, was that to the creator? Was that to the creator? Men don't want to deal with that. You want to dodge and, get to scratching your side and side jawing. No, let's not play. Let's not play. Let's deal with it head up. Let's deal with it head up. All right, look at that. So that's a question, right? Is there anyone listening that doesn't understand that Amos 5:25 is a question that the Creator is asking through his man at the time, Amos? That's a question being asked to the house of Israel by Creator through Amos. All right, this is not a statement being made. This is a question. If you understand that it is a question, give me a 1 up in the chat. Let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. All right. Let's slow it down and critically examine what we're looking at here. If you understand it as a question, give me a 1. If you think that's a statement or a smooth soliloquy, give me a 2. Let's deal. Let's deal. That's a question. How do we know? It's a question mark at the end of it. Look at it. It's a question mark. After Israel, that literary symbol is a question mark. That's a question. Now look at this. Verse 26. Amos 5:26. And remember the question. Were the offerings and sacrifices in the wilderness for the duration of 40 years, was that to the Creator? That's the question. Verse 26 says, but you have borne. Born with an E at the end means carried. But you have carried. But you have carried the tabernacle of your Molech. The tabernacle of your Molech and Chiun, your images, the store of your God, which you made to yourselves. There it is right there. No, that wasn't to the Creator, but you was carrying, you have carried the tabernacle of your Molech and Chiun, your images, the store of your God, which you made to yourselves. That's what you did do. For the 40 years. Remember that. That's not just talking about when Aaron made a calf. It's not talking about just when Aaron made the people naked and made a calf. It's not talking about that. The duration is 40 years. You see that? 40 years. Now look at this. Let's look at it in a different version. Just in case you think, man, Mally, you tripping, man. See, here you go. See, I rock with you until you start. Bro, look, we just read. That's it. It's just information. If it don't resonate with you, you ain't even got to listen. Dig? No, we refuse to be gullible over here. We not sippy cup bros. You crazy? Nah. You're not finna be a baby. Nah, we good. Now look at this in different versions. Now we just read the KJV. All right. The NKJV say, you also carried your king. Then what you were doing, you was carrying Sukkoth, your king, and Chiun, your idols, store of your gods, which you made for yourselves. Now look at the NLT right here. This one. Look at this. Further proof that's a question. Look what it says. No. So, were the sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness, the 40 years, was that to the Creator? Was that to whom was speaking through Amos and Isaiah and Jeremiah and Hosea, right? Or was that to Slick Willie now? Slick Willie. Huh? Was it to them? You dig, the false gods and deities, or was it to the Creator? The NLT come right out and say, no. Nah, that wasn't to the Creator. You served your pagan gods. You served your pagan God. Remember, y'all, this is the entire 40 years. This is not because Aaron did something in the beginning of our sojourn in the wilderness. No. How do we know? Verse 25 said it. It said that was the offerings and sacrifices. I'm paraphrasing, but was the offerings and sacrifices in the wilderness the entire 40 years to the Creator, to whom was speaking through Isaiah and Amos and Jeremiah and Or was it to Slick Willie and them? Was it to Satan? Was it to all the different gods of Canaan? Huh? Yeah, Yahweh Dread. Sukkoth is a god. Ain't that crazy? But remember, the tabernacle that was being carried, according to what we reading, is to the gods of Canaan. It wasn't to the Creator. See, we're not tripping off the influence that who you know as the Canaanites and what history knows as the Phoenicians. The impact that civilization and them cultures, and not just that one. You had Egypt too, Babylon too. You understand? But even y'all down to the names of certain sacrifices are the same. You see what I'm saying? So it says, no, you served your pagan gods. Sakuth, your king god, and Kaiwan, your store god, the images you made for yourselves. That's what was going on in the wilderness, y'all. Right? People don't want to deal with it because, it says the Lord. It says the Lord, and the Lord commanded them. And yeah, no doubt it does say that, but it also says this. So where we going to go now? You understand? Where we going to go now? Look at this. Look at this. So look at this right here. The NET. You will pick up your images of Sikkuth, your king, and Kayun, your store god, which you made for yourself. So the whole point of this and going here is to show that what was going on for 40 years in the wilderness concerning the sacrifices and offerings. Even though we thought that was to the Creator, it actually wasn't. It actually wasn't. All right, these are same rituals of these so-called localities or these so-called gods of these different localities. That's why, again, you must know that the essence and character of Creator. It did. Other than that, you could be one of these so-called puppets. All right, so watch this. Let me show y'all this real quick. Let me stop that. See y'all in the building. Bless up, bless up, bless up. Shout out to all the haters, y'all jackers and naysayers. We love y'all too. Let me show y'all something else real quick. Dang. Then we're going to dive back into it. Easy work. You ain't making up none of this, Jack. Wake up!
This is the Bible's explanation for the name Yahweh. There are certain important and unique features of this burning bush dialogue. First, God identifies himself to Moses as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He reveals to Moses a new name, Yahweh, so that Yahwism and the Yahweh cult can be said to begin only with Moses. Exodus 6, verses 2 to 4, very important passage. Exodus 6, verses 2 to 4. And here God says, I am Yahweh. I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as El Shaddai, but I did not make myself known to them by my name, Yahweh.
וארא אל אברהם, אל יצחק ואל יעקב באל שדי, ושמי אדוני לא נודעתי להם.
Now this contradicts the J source. And many scholars have suggested that P and E preserve a memory of a time when Israel worshipped the Canaanite god El. P and E wish to claim that the God who covenanted with the patriarchs is the God of the Exodus, but now with a new name. God is 6 times called El Shaddai. Other names are El Elyon, El Olam, El Roi, El Bethel. You can see the translations of these. The everlasting God, God Most High, a God of seeing, the God of the house of God, and so on. El is the name of the chief god in the Canaanite pantheon. It's an important set of texts that were discovered at a place called Ras Shamra. Ras Shamra was ancient Ugarit. In 1928, a peasant in Syria discovered a tomb at Ras Shamra, which was subsequently excavated by the French, and it was found to contain a library of tablets that were written in a language very, very close to biblical Hebrew. It's clear that Hebrew is simply a Canaanite dialect. In fact, I remember reading one scholar said, if you go back far enough, you're really hard-pressed to tell the difference between Canaanite and Hebrew. And in these texts, we read of the exploits of the gods of Canaanite religion. These gods include the sky god El, I've listed here, the father of the various gods and humans. El has a wife, Asherah, she's listed third on your paper, a mother goddess, their daughter Anat, who is a goddess of love and war, she's quite fierce, and then their son Baal, who is a storm god. He's depicted in mythological literature as defeating both the chaotic sea god, the sea god Yam, and the god of death, Mot. There are striking resemblances between the biblical God of the patriarchs and the Canaanite god El. El is the head of the council of gods. He is said to have a long white beard. He dwells on a mountain top in a tent. His epithets include father of all creatures, bull, king. He's also described as the protector of patriarchs, patriarchal figures, a god of the father of the clan, it says in the text. He guides them, he protects them, he promises them descendants. Many biblical passages depict God exactly this way, as the head of a council of divine beings. He's occasionally described with some of the epithets that are associated with El. He's referred to as the father of all creatures. There are poetic passages in which he is referred to as bull, also certainly as king. And in the patriarchal narratives, God refers to himself as the God of the Father. I am the God of the Father, the same way El is referred to. He guides and protects the patriarchs. He makes promises of progeny to Abraham and his heirs. He also is associated with a mountaintop, Sinai, and gives instructions for the building of a tabernacle, a tent-like structure in which he will dwell. Many personal and place names in the patriarchal narratives are compounds in which one element is El. Yisrael, Yishmael, Beth El. El is the God of the patriarchs. By contrast, after the time of Moses, Israelite names start to be formed using Yah or Yahu as part of the name Yahweh. Elijah in Hebrew is Eliyahu. So you start to have theophorics, names that use a name of a deity, which are using forms of Yahu instead of El.
Yahoo!
Are you sure you know whose God you're worshiping?
If you see
All right. We working, we cooking a little taste. We cooking a little taste. All right, now let me show y'all something else. Let's get to it. We ain't here to play. Exchange, smooth and fancy soliloquies, you dig? Let's go ahead and work. That deal said Yahoo. Man, it's crazy. It truly is crazy. You dig? On this journey of ever learning and, you feel me, becoming one with the Creator. It's truly an adventurous journey, I must say. All right, this right here is Moses in the original Torah. Something I got last year for less than $10. I just heard this deal like $85 now. I say, dang, that's crazy. All right, that deal said Yahoo. Malak, what's the word, King? What's the word? How you be? Get the Israelites to sacrifice after the 40 years. Man, yeah, Israelites was doing sacrifices in the wilderness. After we got into the land, yeah, that never stopped for the most part. You feel me? So the next question is that of creators, that what the Creator is doing. And that's according to the biblical narrative. But until you attack it from the position of let me learn how the text was compiled. You see, according to the biblical narrative, then you like, nah, the priesthood come before the prophets, and and all that, but you're not realizing how the text was compiled. If Moses even wrote the Torah that you have, you dig, what Moses had wrote was burnt, even according to 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter, verse 21, the Torah was burnt. So at best, you got a refurbished Torah coming out of Babylon under Ezra and Nehemiah. You understand? But even according to that, that's supposed to be 204 books of the Torah, and you only got 5. Hide 70 and reveal to the layman or the common man 134 books of the Torah. You only got 100 books in the Bible. So where is what Ezra produced? Yeah, then later on you got the Septuagint, which is, you know, the oldest existing Old Testament in the Old Testament that the public can access. It's the Septuagint. That's in Greek, translated under Ptolemy Philadelphus. What, 200 BCE, 300 BCE? That's the oldest Old Testament that you have, and it just so happened to be in Greek, translated by 70 Hebrew elders, put in the libraries of Alexandria. You see? And the oldest New Testament that you have is in Greek. It's called the Codex Sinaiticus. You see what I'm saying? So you don't even got really what Moses wrote. Now there's an oral tradition out there. You understand? I'm not talking about the Talmud and all that, but there are oral traditions and teachings of Moses that line up with the universal creator. You understand? That had nothing to do with chopping off the heads of animals and cutting and dissecting them and scraping the fat off the organs and burning the fat. You understand? It had nothing to do with none of that. All right? Eat the whole lamb down to the pertinence of it and all that. You feel me? So if you look at it from how it was compiled, you'll see how what you have today was gradually put together, edited, redacted by scribes. Now we got Jeremiah telling you there are lying scribes out there. Scribes are the one that are responsible for writing down the histories, the laws, and interpreting them. Hence, the scribes were against who? Messiah. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Yeah, I know they was done in the land. They was done in the wilderness too. It's just the question is, was it to a creator? That's the question. All right. Does the creator require blood and guts and all that and chopped off the heads of oxen? How does that work? All right. So right here, Moses and the original Torah, the real character. What they say, the real character of Moses and the essential message of the Torah. All right, and this is by a so-called rabbi, Halil Silva, a Zionist, actually. That's crazy. All right, so that goes into the Amos that we just read. All right, I think I'm gonna start there and read over to page 8. I ain't gonna read the whole thing. All right, just kind of going over the Amos we just read. Yeah, I ain't the one saying they wasn't sacrificing. You dig? Now we just read that the sacrifices was to Molech, right? And this is Amos. Amos is in the land after the sojourning. He's actually looking at he can see the priests do what they do at the temple and at those altars. Like what he's speaking against, they are doing in his time and in his day. And he still like those sacrifices that y'all doing was never to a creator. He never established that. That's what that's about. Now look at this. The Torah that men have rejected. When the prophet Amos, and this is by a Jewish man. When the prophet Amos, 8th century BCE, speaking in the name of Yahweh, confronted his people with the challenging question, did you bring to me sacrifices and offerings the 40 years in the wilderness, O house of Israel? Amos 5:25. We just went there. We went to verse 26 and we went to that in a different version, and it straight said, no, none of that was to whom we call or been calling the creator. None of it. He was clearly expecting a negative response. He would not have uttered his challenge if it were generally held on the basis of a long established tradition or a sacred document, that such sacrifices had in fact been offered during the 40 years of the wandering of their ancestors in the wilderness. On the contrary, Amos's rhetorical question presupposed that the people knew there had been no such sacrifices Nah, so what they were doing was to whom then? It wasn't to the Creator. Look at this. But the Exodus narratives in the Pentateuch tell of Moses' request of the Pharaoh for permission to lead the people of Israel out into the wilderness, a 3-day journey, so that they might sacrifice unto Yahweh their God. He also requested from the Pharaoh animals for sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice unto Yahweh our God. All the legal codes of the Pentateuch take the institution of sacrifices for granted. Y'all, this is a rabbi telling you this. Look at this. He telling you all the legal codes of the Pentateuch, right? Basically what Ezra came out of Babylon with. Take the institution of sacrifices for granted. How could Amos have said what he did say unless there existed an older code or tradition, which the people associated with Moses and the Exodus, which ignored sacrifices? Which ignored sacrifices. Sacrifices were, of course, widespread at all the sanctuaries of Israel and Judah. So we're not, according to the biblical narrative, we're not telling our brothers and sisters they're not reading that. You are. You got to ask yourself, who was it to? And how was the text compiled? Once you understand the order of things, then you can look at it from its proper perspective and say, oh, okay. Okay, look at this. It says right here, sacrifices were, of course, widespread at all the sanctuaries of Israel and Judah. And Amos was fully aware of the fact, right? Nevertheless, he dared to assert that these had no precedent. See, he was looking at it going on. None of us are looking at that go on today. Closest you can get is a YouTube video. He was actually looking at the burnt offerings going on. He was a witness of it. And guess how he popped off? That was never, the Creator never commanded that. See, it ain't us you got a problem with. It's the prophets, right? The text got a conflict within itself. And at times, all them don't agree on a certain topic. It's the truth. Look at this. It says right here. It says right here. Nevertheless, he dared to assert that these had no precedent in the practices of the ancestors of Israel after they left Egypt, and presumably had never been ordained. Had never been ordained by Moses. Amos did not attack you heard it? Never had been ordained by Moses. Look at this. Amos did not attack the institution of sacrifices in his own name. That's an excellent point. It's an excellent point. Amos did not attack the institution of sacrifices in his own name. He did not just express his personal disapproval of them, nor did he announce that the Creator now wished to have them discontinued, although he had previously commanded them. Y'all see, but our people would assume that he just was mad, so he furloughed it. He furloughed the burnt offerings. He put the burnt offerings under a furlough. No, that ain't the case. It's not the case. He did not just express his personal disapproval of them, nor did he announce that the Creator now wished to have them discontinued, although he had previously commanded them. No. Amos categorically declared that they had never been practiced by the people of Israel through their 40 years wandering in the wilderness, with the clear implication that they had never been commanded to do so by the Creator. Y'all see that? And that's serious. So it trip off this. Trip off this. If no sacrifices were offered in the wilderness, there was no need for a priesthood whose function it would be to officiate at them. It did. But notice, if you go down to verse 26 of Amos 5 and 26, the answer is no, that wasn't to me. You was carrying the tabernacle of these pagan, these false gods. So he said, look, if no sacrifices were offered in the wilderness, well, at least not to the Creator, there was no need for a priesthood whose function it would be to officiate at them. The biblical account of sacrifices offered at the tent of meeting, Mishkan, Ohel, Moed, during the years of wanderings in the wilderness must therefore be viewed as a, look at this. This is how I got in there. Look at this. If the Most High never commanded it and what you was doing was never to him, there's only one other way you can view it, because it is in your Bible. It is in your Bible. Look at this. It says right here. It says, during the years of wanderings in the wilderness must therefore be viewed as a later priestly revision, a backward projection into the past, which was intended to give Mosaic authority to the institution of sacrifices and to the Levitical or Aaronic priesthood. He just said right there, y'all remember, this is a rabbi that's a master of the Torah according to them. He admitted, nah, they backdating the scriptures. It's a later priestly revision. If Creator saying he never commanded it and it was never ordained by Moses, then what you was doing was to a false god or false gods, deities. Right? So the only way you can view it, because it is in there, the only way you can view it is a later edition. A later priestly revision, a backward projection. They're backdating the scriptures. Meaning it's written down as if it's putting their interject into the scriptures as if it's in chronological order. That ain't the case. That ain't the case. Scriptures have been backdated. Scriptures have been backdated. And even if you don't want to believe that, you still got to deal with what the prophets are saying. Why so many of them are going against the sacrifices that are happening that they are witnessing? All right, look at this. It says right here. Leviticus 7:37-38. This same priestly expedient is responsible also for the rather strange tale that the Israelites, before their departure from Egypt, were instructed by Moses to ask of their Egyptian neighbors jewelry of silver and of gold and clothing. And the Creator had given the people favor in the sight of the Egyptian, so that they let them have what they asked. Exodus 12:35-36. Without this gold, silver, and clothing, the Israelites could not, of course, have made the offerings of gold, silver, and bronze, blue, and purple, and scarlet stuff, and so forth, for the refurnishing of the tabernacle in the wilderness. Exodus 25:2. Deuteronomy makes no mention. Trip off this. Deuteronomy makes no mention of construction of a tabernacle in the wilderness. Look at this. So nowhere in Deuteronomy does it even explain this. All right, look at this. Egypt had a sacrificial system which was undoubtedly well known to Moses and to the Israelites. So did all the peoples of antiquity. Moses would have none of it in the Torah, which he gave to his people. He rejected the entire system of sacrifices as a means of worshiping Yahweh. This was a religious innovation. The sacrificial system was a religious innovation of a startling and revolutionary character. The elaborate, or the Torah that Moses was talking about, minus the sacrifices. The elaborate sacrificial system, which is found in the Pentateuch, was undoubtedly developed later under Canaanite influence. In some instances, the very names of the sacrifices were appropriated from them. There it is. There it is. It says what you have is undoubtedly Canaanite influenced. Undoubtedly Canaanite influence. You see? So it ain't like we making any of it up. You dig? It'd be different if we gon' it'd be different if the prophets wasn't saying that. But that's what they saying. That's what they saying. You see what I'm saying? The prophets are going against what it is that is happening in their day on the Temple Mount. You know what I mean? That's what they good talking about. Now, if you go over to Amos' son, Isaiah. Go over to Amos' son, Isaiah. All right? It's real easy. It ain't even hard to understand. You just got to take emotion out of it. All right? You got to take emotion out of it. So Amos received something from Creator, inspiration from the Creator about the sacrifices and how the sacrifices was never to him. But then he named the gods, didn't he? The gods got named, who the sacrifices were to. Where do you go from there? What else we talking about at that moment? If it is, was the sacrifices to the Most High in the wilderness 40 years. And then the next one says, but you did carry the tabernacle of Molech. Hold on. So during the 40 years of wandering, you were carrying the tabernacle of Molech that went to the Creator. Now that, and Amos is the one that received that. But see, Amos is the father of Isaiah. So let's go to Isaiah and let's see if the theory holds up. It was because we was just disobedient. You know what I mean? It was just because we was disobedient. Hold on for 1 second. All right, so look, let's go over here to Isaiah. Let's go show it. All you gotta do is slow down and see it. And then you start seeing, okay, yeah, it is a lot of different influence. It is the language, the fringes, circumcision. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, but how couldn't it, like, how wouldn't it be with all these different nations and cultures around Israel? How wouldn't our identity become amalgamated? Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? All right. Now, let's look at this. Let's go over to Isaiah. Let's go over to Isaiah. Nah, I'm tripping. Hold on. My bad, y'all. Do it like this. Look at Isaiah. Look at the title, girl. It says, God has had enough. If y'all get some understanding, give me an 8 up in the chat. Bless up. Bless up. Bless up. Now look at this. Look at this. This right here really is the nail in the coffin. We got Isaiah's father Amos saying what you was doing was to Satan, Molech, and all them, which is a Canaanite god, Canaanite deity. And look, that ain't Malachi be telling you that. Amos said it. I mean, we just reading it. Amos said that. He named the deity. He named the God. That's who that was too. Creator doesn't require blood. Chopping off ox heads and scraping fat off organs. And come on, y'all. I mean, look, deep down in your soul, you know they don't sound right. And even if you went past or witnessed something of someone doing something like that today, you would swear it was satanic. Look at this. God has had enough. Heard the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our God, ye people of Gomorrah. Now trip off this. Trip off this. This is Isaiah, the son of Amos. All right, being inspired to speak against the rulers of the people. Now, the rulers are so evil. They're so evil, you dig, that he compares them to Sodom and Gomorrah. The rulers to Sodom and the people to Gomorrah. Now, look at this. So this means they're sinful. Correct? But there's offerings for sins. If you're sinful and you want to get yourself together, there's sin offerings you can bring to have burnt up, right? All right, so if the rulers are compared to Sodom and the people are compared to Gomorrah, that means they're sinful. That means they need to be bringing a sin offering. Look at this. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Saith Yahweh. Now, what does that mean? What is he asking? That's another question, a good question. What is the purpose? What is the meaning of the multitude? There's so many sacrifices. What's the reason for that? Unto me, saith the Most High. I am full of the burnt offerings of rams, and the fat of fed beasts. And I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he-goats. Now, you got the Most High right here asking, why y'all sacrificing all this to me? I don't delight none of that. What's the purpose of it? I don't delight in the blood of goats and lambs and bullocks. I don't delight in the fat off the organs of fatted and fed beasts. Huh? I'm full of burnt offerings, full of it. So right here, he's speaking through Isaiah, letting it be known that he don't even, what is the purpose of it? Because I don't like it. All right? If you understand, that's what's being said here. The Most High is asking through the prophet Isaiah, what is the purpose of it? Meaning, what is the reason of this? What's the meaning behind it? Because I don't even delight in it. He don't delight in the blood, the fat, nor the whole burnt offerings. If y'all understand that, give me a 7 up in the chat. I already compared them to Sodom and Gomorrah. Then I asked, what are your purpose? What is this for? Huh? Look at this, verse 12. Let's keep it going. When you come to appear before me, who have required this at your hand? What at your hand? To tread my courts. Creator still asking a question. When you come to appear before me, who have required this at your hand? A requirement is a commandment, Jack. Now we heard from Isaiah's father Amos that what you was doing wasn't to the Most High, that was to the pagan gods, the false gods, specifically Molech and them. Now we got Amos' son Isaiah and the Creator speaking through him, asking who required this. Right there we got to deal with, because the requirement is a commandment. So who commanded the sacrifices, the burnt offerings, the chopped off heads, the whole burnt offerings, the sprinkling of blood? Who commanded that? Because the Creator is clearly speaking through Isaiah saying, who, when you come to appear before me, who have required this at your hand to tread my courts? Who has required what at your hands? What they got? The offerings, the flesh of lamb, bullocks, oxen, the blood of lamb, bullocks, oxen, and goats, the fat of lambs, bullocks, oxen, and goats. And it's clear as day. Who required that? Huh? Who required this at your hand to tread my courts? Y'all tread my courts with all this, with this blood, with this fat, with this flesh. But who required that? Well, hold on. If you sin, according to what we have in Leviticus, you got to go bring a certain innocent victim to the priest, and there has to be a sin offering. So the argument, everybody say, oh, it's because we was being disobedient. He ain't like our sacrifices. Well, hold on, buddy. Slow down. That sounds good. It sounds good, and it's just one problem. If you're disobedient, that means you're sinning. And there are sin offerings according to the Torah. Meaning if you are disobedient, there are offerings you can bring that are acceptable and will be accepted according to Leviticus. So the whole argument that what? Oh, he ain't want to accept our sacrifices because we was being disobedient. Yeah, that's lame, and that just got shut out the water. I thought you had offerings that would make you ritually clean. Thought you had sin offerings and cleansing rituals. What you mean? What you mean? The Creator is asking, when you come to appear before me, talking to them priests, the rulers of this people, who have required this at your hand to tread my courts. You can't, no one can get around verse 12, because the requirement is a commandment. And what they got in his courts, blood, fat, and flesh. Who told you to bring that? In some cases, that's true. In some cases, flour. The whole ritualistic setup and all that, according to Amos and according to Isaiah, was not commanded by the Creator. They got a problem with what they're witnessing. Look at this. Look at this. Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. Look at this. The new moons and the Shabbat, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity. Even the solemn meeting. Why is all this, even though he commanded these things, Why are these things iniquity? You know, we used to say, oh man, see right there, because we got blood on our hands. Exactly. But you never tripping off. He's talking directly to the priest about the sacrifices that they are treading his courts with. That's deeper than just we was being disobedient. The whole point is the whole system was never to the creator. He never ordained it. He never ordained it. He never wanted it. So you bringing some incense and you talking about you keeping Sabbath, but look what you got over there on that burnt altar. Look at all the blood you got in your mouth. Bloody mouth, boy. Huh? Look at all the murder on your mind. Look at all the animal sandwiches, the pig ear sandwiches, and the chopped liver, and look at all that, and all the chicken wings and turkey. And come on, man, stop it. Stop it. You got the nerve to show up on Shabbat, burn some incense. You just burn the incense to cover up the stink, that blood, that flesh. That's all that is. Look at this. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth. Look at this. They are trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when you spread forth your hands in prayer to create, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. What blood? Whose hands are filled with blood? Who we talking about here? Go on back up. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith the Lord? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of goats. Jump back down. 15. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. It should be crystal clear by now. It should be crystal clear by now. Your hands are full of blood. Whose blood? Whose blood did the Most High just say he don't even delight in it? He don't want the blood. He don't want the fat. He don't want the flesh. He went even as far as saying, who told you to tread my courts with this? Who has required this of you? See, now you got to question the law that you have concerning the sacrifices, because the prophets are clearly going against it. You see, our problem as Israelites, we try to make it all make sense and mesh. No. This is that talk right here that got Messiah murdered. Murdered. Look at this. Right? It should be crystal clear of whose hands are full of blood. Wash you. Yeah, get that blood up off you, boy. Make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. What is he calling evil? Go back up. Verse 11. I will read it again. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith the Creator? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he-goats. Jump back down. 16. Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek the judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow. This is the original Torah of Moses right here. All right? This is what it is all about. Doing well. Righteous works unto your neighbors and even to strangers. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Be a father to the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Be a comfort for the widow. Look at this. Come now, and let us reason together, saith the Most High. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. Look at this. If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the what? The good of the land. If you obey and wash you and stop bringing the flesh and the blood and the fat of these victims before the Almighty, and you ain't doing no more sacrifices, but now you just doing it because Nick Bro claimed he hungry. That's what the brother told me before. Nigga, we hungry. So at least you being honest, brother. You dig? Learn to do well. Cease from doing evil. Stop chewing on animal sandwiches and loin meat. Stop it. Stop it. Making your body a graveyard. And the prophets were clearly against this, because without the sacrifice of the animals, there is no pig ear sandwich. There is no, chicken sandwich from, fish and chicken. There ain't none of that. So if you be willing and obedient, if you be willing to put away the evil that you're doing, get that blood up off of you. Stop coming before the Most High with the things that he desires not. All right? He let you know that what you have in Leviticus is a backdating of the scriptures, is a priestly revision. You understand? You came out of Babylon with a revised Torah, so the history that you have, that you depending 100% on, is not authentic and correct. You understand? A lot of things that are attributed to Moses that he never wrote. Never wrote. So whatever Moses wrote down was burnt by the time we got to Babylon. Ezra says that in 2nd Ezra 14 and 21. There's no getting around it. And you ain't even got what he produced, because that's supposed to be a collection of 204 books of the Torah. Torah, 204 books. You only got 5. You ain't even got 100 books in your entire Bible. You see? Hence, Messiah was against the scribes, or the scribes was against him, because a lot of times he taught against what they wrote down and what they were teaching. So if you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. All right, what's the good of the land? What's the good of the land? Was that the one that I must have read in a different version? All right, let me go to a different version to show y'all. What's the good of the land? Watch this. That's what I did. I went to a different version of the Bible and looked at this verse. Now watch this. I was like, good night. There it is. Right here in the NET. If you have a willing attitude and obey, then you will again eat the good crops of the land. Y'all see that? The good of the land is what you grow. It's the seeds you plant, the land you cultivate, and the crops that come behind it. That's the good of the land. It's not the blood, the fat, and the flesh of victims or animals. See that? Right? If you have a willing attitude and obey, then you will again eat the good crops of the land. You see that? This is what the Creator is saying through Isaiah in his day. Right? I know that's hard for a lot of brothers to swallow. I understand that. It ain't like I don't understand. Right? But we have a clear look, even if I shut up and never said nothing ever again, that's what men really want me to do. And not just me, even the brothers I roll with. They want us to be quiet because what we say make these Negroes uncomfortable. But even if we did do that, you still have conflict within the text. Somebody's still going to come behind us years later and be like, hey, hold on, I got a question. Why does this say this? All right. So if you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword. For the mouth of the Most High have spoken it. Like, look, if you continue this violence and this bloodshed, you understand, not only of men, but also of animals. You understand? Violence begets violence. So we got Isaiah right here letting it be known that the Creator never ordained this. This had nothing to do with, it was because we was disobedient. You know, that's why he didn't want our sacrifices. He said, learn to do well, and you don't need the sacrifice. Period. Obedience is better than sacrifice. You see? So we got Amos and Isaiah letting it be known that Creator ain't even moving like that. You understand? He's saying he never required it. Who required it? Because it wasn't him. So then you got, okay, basically you had a crossroads now. Then it's like, well, what about Messiah? He was the sacrifice. Look, I can roll with that. I can roll with that from a standpoint of he was murdered. You understand? And his murder is supposed to spark something revolutionary in your mind to continue to work. But as a sacrifice in place for all the wickedness that you done did, I don't, if you look at it from a historical perspective, nah. And if you look at it from the Nazarene saint literature, he straight tell you, no man, no animal, nothing born of a woman can die for you. You understand? True, to get back in good graces with the Creator or the Most High, you got to stop doing what you're doing and change your ways. Make amendment, repent and make amendment. And through righteous work done unto others, you can, get your grade back up and get yourself together. But every tub got to sit on its own bottom. And even according to the Hebrews 10 and 26, if you sin willfully after you done received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin. So if you done sin since you understood anything about being conscious of being an Israelite, then there is no sacrifice for sin for you anyway. You got to stand on your own bottom. You got to sit on your own bottom. And all these men out here have sinned since they came to the Lord. Stop playing with me. All right. So Isaiah is saying right here that no, you weren't supposed to be doing none of that. That was never ordained. And the Most High is asking through Amos this. Who ordained this, or who required this of you? Your hands are full of blood. But then we go over to Leviticus and we see this is who we call the Creator or the Most High. You understand? This is what he requires. And we start thinking that, right? And we forget about what we just read in Amos, where the gods were named. No, you was carrying the tabernacle of Molech and Chion. None of those sacrifices you did with that tabernacle was to the Creator. All 40 years. Let's prove that. I'll show that. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing a special episode for Nazarene Edition Part 100 we got coming up sometime next week. It'd be good to have you brothers and sisters call in, chop it up. When my name was a bad taste in Israel's mouth, back last year, I just did more and more work. Me and the bros, more and more work. Just kept teaching, kept dropping bombs. Looked up, everybody's quiet on the set now. Don't nobody want no smoke. It's quiet on the set. It's quiet on the set. All right. Now watch this. Okay, we got Isaiah thing. And everybody, look, and everybody understand that. Everybody understand that, man. Man, I lost my train of thought. Where I'm going? Isaiah, Amos. Was I going back to Amos? I think I would. What's the Isaiah? Going back to Amos. Let me show y'all something real quick. No, I wouldn't. I was going to Psalm. It was the entire 40 years. This wasn't just because Aaron made the golden calf 2 weeks out. Nah. This wasn't because it was a fortnight into the wilderness sojourning, 15 days. This wasn't a brief hiccup. This was the entire time. Nobody wants to deal with it. All right. All right, let's get it done. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, Malak, what you're gonna find out is you got warring traditions in the scripture. So you got one side to say this what it is, and you got the other side saying that ain't what it is. And where you at a crossroads. You trying to make it all make sense or make it all mesh together. You understand? I done been there before. You did, but when you done with that journey, come holler at me. What you gonna do? You're gonna run into a situation. You understand? No, see, there are altars to the Creator. It's just not what the priests were doing. It's just not what they was doing. All right. These altars have no blood on them, no flesh, no guts, none of that, fat, none of that. You dig? But when you get done with that journey, you're gonna be like, dang. You dig? And then when you finish with it, your brush still here, and let's keep chopping it up. Now look at this. The entire time they was in the wilderness. See, you got the prophets going against it. All right, Psalm 95. Look at this. Psalm 95 verse 8. This is the proof it was the entire time in the wilderness. This was not a fortnight. This was not a brief hiccup. Harden not your hearts as in the provocation, as in the day of temptation in the wilderness. When your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my work. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation, and said, it is a people that do error in their heart, and they have not known my ways. How do you get around that? That's the psalmist telling you that, look, man, the entire 40 years the Most High was grieved with us. And we erred in our mind concerning who the creator was. That means our worship was off. You got Leviticus in the wilderness, huh? Yeah, the whole 40 years in which he was grieved with that generation. That's where you got Leviticus from. Or supposedly got it from. The sojourning in the wilderness. And if that's the case, then the ways of the creator were not known the entire 40 years in the wilderness. He say 40 long years. Yeah, not a hiccup. Not you made a few mistakes. The entire wandering. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation and said, it is a people that do error in their heart, meaning their minds, and they have not known my ways. So that means our worship the entire 40 years was off. It was not to the creator. How many witnesses you need? We got Amos 5:26 through 27. We got Isaiah 1:10 through 20. We got Psalm 95, 8 through 11. We even been showing some sources. Right? So even outside the resources that we showing, we in the Bible showing you the same thing. They have not known my ways, saith the creator, saith the Most High. So who ways did you know? You had knowledge in the wilderness according to the biblical narrative. You was worshiping the creator. That's where you got your feast days and Leviticus and all that from, right? Yeah, but right here is that right there goes against that narrative. And that's what I'm saying. You have internal conflict within the Bible itself, regardless of what you think of me. Regardless of what you think of me, you got internal conflict within the text itself. Well, creator is saying right here, those people erred in their heart the entire 40 years. So that worship was not to him, and our people never knew his ways. But they had knowledge of someone's ways. And according to what we read, that's Molech and those the gods of Canaan, Baal and all them. Molech. That's who that is. We think it's a game? Watch this. Watch this. Let's go over. Let's work. Y'all not here to see us exchange fancy soliloquies. Let's go show the Baal. Baal is a god of Canaan. And sometimes some of our prophets took off the name of Baal. Zerubbabel, Baal. Places, B-L-P-O, Baal, Baal P-O. Yeah, fronting like the Lord. That's what nobody want to deal with. A lot of Israel get mad. You know what I mean? Now watch this right here. The restoration of Israel. Showing you Israel, that's who Israel was dealing with. Right? These are the gods of Canaan. No, man, these are the gods of Canaan. We went historical and showed you they got gods named El. Like Elohim. Come on, man. They even got a God named Yahweh. I mean, truth is truth, okay. But even a false God can appear in any name that you call your creator. Right? It's the body of notes, it's the character of creator, because you will be tested. You understand? That's why it's essential. We be talking about we got to body the false gods. We at the God body. Israel can argue about 12 tribe charts and you understand who mixed and who not. No, I hear all that. I'm here to hit the God. That's it. If it ain't the creator, then it's Satan. If it ain't the creator or the angels working on behalf of the creator, then you dealing with Satan. You dealing with self, ego. You dealing with the false gods. Baal being one of them. Molech being another one. Ashtoreth being another one. All right. It's just the truth, man. That's what Israel was on. And the modern Israelite movement is based off the 40 years of error in the wilderness. Think about what we boast about: feast days, circumcision, fringes. You understand? You look into these other cultures that was around, they been had that culture. Same thing that we brag about, they already had the cut. Show it on the walls. They already had the dress code with the fringes. They already was doing these certain sacrificial rites and ceremonies, same stuff we doing. You see, there were already priesthoods established and all that. You know what I mean? Look at this. And I will visit upon her the days of Baalim. Look at that. There go Baal. There go Baal. And if it's the aim, it's plural. So you dealing with him and all his little warring angel hosts.
Strong's H1168. Baal. Baal.
That card nigga
And the form just below that, Baal. Baal.
There's nigga Baal, man. Look at that. Baal equal Lord. Look at that. Lord. And that's why you got to know the character of the creator. Because, all right, visitation turns up more and more in these hours. What if you get a visitation, somebody tell you he's your Lord? Your Lord, your God. Bow before your maker. If you don't know the character of creator, your knees going to be knocking like a naked newborn. And you're going to get your kneecaps dusty and your forehead dusty, bowing to a false deity and false God. Working on behalf of the false gods, all while claiming that they are your Lord. See, we in the era of high visitation. You better know the character of creator. We in the era of high dreams. Dreams is popping up all over the place. Premonition, deja vu. Huh? So it's spiritual communion going on in the sleep, in the spirit world, you know what I mean? So you better know the character of creator, because one of these entities or beings can come holler at you. Huh? And play with you. You got to be up on it and know creator. You understand? Once that it's understood that you know the Most High. Now I was commanded not to kill. No, I was taught that you can't see the creator. You understand? And any angel or God or deity ain't nothing but a one-time man who then rose up in the ranks after death. Other than that, you ain't the creator and you can't be. You did? And what you understand now is this: even if there is a visitation, right? I'm the Lord your God and all that. Hey, any God or Lord God in service to the creator will never demand your worship. Never demand your Lord, never demand your prayers, never demand your worship. They simply here appointed by the creator to help raise you up and assist you. So by the time you cross over, you're prepared. You understand? To rise up in the ranks and all that. See? So know the creator, know the Most High. You better, because a false God can appear in any holy name you talking about. They done heard it all way before you found out. Oh, I heard the name was Ali. I'm like, what them boys talking about? Them boys talking about it. Fa'id, Aid, Alaid. Them boys over there in Teleran. I said, what in the world is they talking about? But whatever name you calling on, you got to know the character of the creator. Would the creator command you to kill? Would he sanction warfare? Would he command you to go kill you some children? Bash their heads, cut off animal heads? Would he command that? Is he angry? Is he jealous? Is he bloodthirsty? He sound like the old boy up the street. You see? So Baal equal Lord, supreme male divinity of the Phoenicians or Canaanites. And the truth about this, there was an Israelite named Baal, a Reubenite, the son of Jehiel and grandfather of Saul, whose name was Baal, y'all. You got Israelites naming themselves Baal. Huh? Come on now, that right there shows the amalgamation or the worship of the Canaanite deities. Hence, you better know the character of the Most High. Look at this. Israelites were worshiping Baal. All right. Look at that. Got a town of Simeon, probably identical with Baal off Beer. They was naming even their cities and towns after this deity called Baal, who was in heavy rotation and heavy worship in Canaan by the time they even got there. You see that? Look at that. They even naming their cities after Baal. Some of their sacrifices they naming after Baal. Some of their prophets are named after Baal. Okay? So again, we ain't here to, quibble over names with nobody about nothing. But the fact of the matter is, Israel, in one time or another, or even today, I propose, are still under the worship of Baal. They just don't call him by name. You dig? Literally named Baal, but we still call him Lord. You dig? And we are still involved in certain worships. We still hold fast and call holy certain worships that was identical to Baal, Molech, and El worship. You see? And I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, wherein she burned incense to them. She decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, saith the Most High. Restoration of Israel. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. Now, this is a prophecy. We rolling with prophecy. Well, this is a prophecy that's still in front of us. Israel has not been restored, let alone been in the wilderness since we were in the wilderness the first time leaving Egypt. So this is another wilderness experience. You see that? This is another wilderness experience that's coming. Now look at what's going on in the wilderness. All right, this is something that's in front of us. All right, if this prophecy is true and true indeed, it shall be, then guess what? This right here is something that has not happened. All 12 tribes of Israel have not been restored since the kingdom was split after the reign of Solomon, according to the biblical timeline, 900 BC, something like that, BCE. So this has not happened, which means it's a future prophecy. Therefore, behold, I will allure her, talking about Israel, and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. And I will give her vineyards, not slaughterhouses, so you can chew on loin meat. I will give her vineyards from thence, in the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there. Sing where? In the wilderness. Israel is to be restored. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be at that day, saith the Most High, thou shalt call me Ishi, meaning my Lord, and shall call me no more Baali, meaning my Baal. Ishi, meaning my husband, excuse me, and shall call me no more my Baal, Baali. But remember, this is a future prophecy. So that means y'all Baal worship is still being promulgated and widespread through the modern nation of Israel. This is a time that has not yet come. And when this time comes, the names of Baal, meaning the worship of Baal, will be destroyed out of Israel's mouth. Being this time has not happened yet, then guess what? Israelites are still worshiping Baal to this day, under the title of Lord, Lord, God, and Lord, and not knowing it. See, once you see that the prophets are speaking against it, then when you go back to the law in Leviticus and say, the Lord said this, the Lord they talking about y'all is Baal, the Baalim, Baal, Molech, Ashtaroth, El. Those are the makeshift deities of Canaan. That's them. That's who that is. You see what I'm saying? And I know it's hard for people to swallow, but it's the truth. So right here in Hosea is saying that we're not going to be calling on the names of Baal or the Baalim anymore. All right? Anymore. For I will take away, look at this, for I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. So if this is a future prophecy where Israel is brought into the wilderness, then guess what got to happen then? Baal worship got to be destroyed and put out of Israel. And that means Baal worship is still going on in Israel today. Yeah, it's a reason why them scribes had a major league problem with Messiah. Messiah, even when you read in the New Testament, It was the scribes that was there majority of the time. We always talk about the Pharisees. The Pharisees, and man, look, it was them scribes. Them scribes were officers of the court, the Sanhedrin. They had authority to indict you, to lock you up. They were the writers of the law and the teachers and edifiers of it. You see? So you got the masses of people being led by these false scribes who Jeremiah prophesied in his day would come. Here come Messiah teaching against everything that they got written down. You heard it been said this, but I say do it like this. But I say, it say right in there, this is written down, but I say do it like this. You got this written down by them, but I say do it like this. You see? Look at that. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day will I make a covenant for them, the covenant chosen people, with the beasts of the field. Hold on. So it's going to be a covenant between man and beast. Sound like in Noah's time. Look at this. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth. And will make them to lie down safely. Do y'all hear this? The covenant everybody loves to tote and claim they up under is one of peace, not only between man, but also between man and beast, or the entire animal kingdom. And the weapons of war will be destroyed out of the earth. We run around talking about we new covenant brews. Well, the new covenant is all out peace between man and animals. The way of the Baal, the way of Baalim, the way of the gods of Canaan ain't about peace. That's all about bloodshed. That's all about sacrificing. Trip off this, y'all. Not just animals, humans too. You see this? The new covenant, or if you're going to run with that, is a peaceful covenant. It's a covenant of peace between man and also between man and animals, and also between the animals and themselves. Why all weapons of war be destroyed out of the earth? Weapons down. Weapons down. Yeah. Weapons down. That ain't got nothing to do with the Creator's kingdom. Weapons down. Those got to be destroyed and made into gardening tools. Got to cultivate and work the earth. Y'all see this? Give me a 5 up in the chat if you're getting some understanding. Look, we got warring or internal conflict in the scriptures. All right. Many prophets are letting it be known. That ain't what Creator wants. Look at this. 19. Talking about breaking the weapons of war out of the earth. So if it ain't no weapons of war, how you gonna kill anything, including animals? You see that? Look at this. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercies. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Most High. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith the Most High. I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. Jezreel is another word for Israel, meaning planting, sowing of the Creator, right? And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that have not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which were not my people, thou art my people. And they shall say, thou art my mighty one. So we see that the new covenant and the redemption of Israel and all that is all about peace. It's all about destroying the worship of Baal, the Canaanite gods and goddesses out of our mouths. All right, it's all about peace between man and animals. The entire animal kingdom is at peace. You see that? That's what that is. So if that's the case, then what we learned about the Creator is he ain't with the bloodshed and he ain't with the sanctioning of the warfare. Russia, Ukraine, or whatever's going on. You did? Whose side you on? Neither one of them. I'm rolling with the Most High. You understand? Look, if it was at my way, weapons down. We about to melt all these weapons of war out the earth. build the greatest kingdom on this earth while we own this earth. You understand? Show y'all some of these pictures, though. I got some of these pictures pulled up. Let me show y'all some of that. Like, this ain't nothing to play around with, man. We ain't making none of this up. All right, now right here, Baal. All right, sure. I pull up some of these pictures. Pull up some of these pictures. YAH'KI. What we talking about here? Oh, that was that one I had up already. All right, what we got? What we got? What we got? What we got? Is this one of them? Okay, we can look at some of this right here. There's some images I just downloaded. Let me show the side. There's some images I downloaded. All right. Now look at this right here. This your boy Baal right here. That's Baal right there. Baal or El, one of them. All right. All the way to the left right here, that's Baal. All right. That's Ashtoreth, Shara in the middle, and that's a rendition of Molech right there. Canaanite deities. Now remember, he said, but you was carrying the tabernacle of Molech. This guy right here to the right. Then we're talking about destroying the Baalim out of our mouths, right? Well, that's all of these combined. The gods of Canaan, all right, are still in the mouths of Israel until Israel is purged in the wilderness, according to the biblical narrative. All right, and if since that has not happened, then guess what? We can safely conclude that the worship of the Baalim or the worship of Baal or the worship of the gods of Canaan is in the scriptures. And that's why you need to know the character of the creator. So you can be like, yeah, I ain't get down with that right there. You know what I mean? Here's some of them right here. Baal. That's Baal again. Sitting on his throne. Sitting on his throne. All right. Ooh, 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 ooh. See that? Right here. Let me show y'all the fringes. All right. Now, right here, this is in stone. Matter of fact, I got this picture actually. This one right here. Israelites going into exile. All right. Assyria, this is the northern kingdom. Bruised, locks, nappy birds, you know. You know, so we are in stone. Being an Israelite is historical. Then if you look closely at their clothing, they got the fringes on down there. These are Israelites being led right here. This is an Assyrian behind them. Now look at the Assyrian over here to the right. This is an Assyrian priest. Got the same fringes on. Look at that. Same fringes. Assyria, Babylon. All right. In some cases, y'all, same language. Let me show y'all some of that. All right. Some cases, same. I got one right here. That's the Judgment Hall of Ma'at right there. That's crazy. I just pulled this up. Now look at the headpiece on Osiris. A lot of y'all don't know that. That your boy right here, your boy Baal, the Canaanite god, your boy Baal, a lot of y'all don't know this though, Baal and your boy Osiris. Look at the headpiece on Osiris over here. Huh? Osiris and Baal got the same headpiece. A lot of y'all don't know they used to be at one time, you dig, on the same squad. At one time they was on the same squad. See that? Same squad. Osiris, Baal, all of them was on the same squad at one point in time. All right, but here go the Hebrew right here. Show y'all that. See this? Paleo ancient Hebrew. If anybody know what the Ibrit look like, you know that's not a lie. You dig? You know that's not a lie. That's ancient, or what everybody called it, Lashawan Quadash, ancient Hebrew, right? But if you look at the inscription at the bottom, look at this. It says right here, an inscription of Kalumawah, king of Samar, which is dated 830 BCE. So this is in stone, y'all. You understand? What we doing and what we talking about is historical. It's just everybody don't agree about times and methods of worship and all that, right? It says right here. It says right here. King of Samal, which is dated 830 BCE. This is the oldest Somalian royal inscription ever found. It was written in what? Phoenician. Phoenician. This is Phoenician Hebrew. Huh? What they call Paleo Hebrew is Phoenician Hebrew. The Phoenicians, y'all, are the Canaanites. They're the Canaanites. All right. So your language, your customs, you understand, your rituals, a lot of that you got from the gods of Canaan. You got to know the character of Creator. You have to. It is a must. You be calling on the Yahuwah, and not even understanding you calling on a false god because of the character that you believe Yahuwah is in. Or, you understand, the worship that you involve yourself in. You see? You be worshiping a false god front like they the creator. Because that's what's been going on. All right? So, yeah, this is a Phoenician. This was written in Phoenician. Okay? The Phoenician, historically speaking, are who the Bible calls Canaanites. So they already had the language in the land. This is what Abraham would have bumped into right here. All right. Now, you think it's a game? Look at this. Here go to Hebrew. Go to Hebrew right here. Look at that. They got it backwards. They got it from left to right. If you know about the Hebrew, it's right to left. So all the way to the left over here, a left, bet. What is Gamel? Okay, Gamel, Dalet, Hey, Waz, Ayin, Ket, Teth, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Noom, Samek, Ayin, Pei, Sadeh, Kuf, Reshin, Tav. Yep. But those letters, look at that, close look at them. Those letters and these letters are one and the same. See that? The language, the dress code, the worships. Now you seeing what the prophets were really up against. Now you seeing it. That's what they really was up against. Baal worship. Letting it be known like this ain't got nothing to do with the creator. What is y'all on? Bring this back on up real quick. My bad, y'all. Stop screen. Stop sharing. You see that? So we showing that the worships and all that the prophets had a problem with, and we seeing it was a heavy Canaanite influence. We done brought that out in the history from certain rabbis and all that. Man, look, even if we didn't bring that out, y'all, we went into the Bible and showed you. Went to the Bible and showed you. Israel is still dealing with Baal worship. Maybe not in name, other than saying Lord, because what Lord are you talking about? You dig? And if we refer to what goes on in the wilderness, then according to Amos, Isaiah, Hosea, you dig, we got a problem because that wasn't to the creator, right? And even if you find scriptures opposite of that, it's just further proving our point. All right, there are conflicts in the scriptures. Every narrative don't match the next narrative. All right, everybody at war in there. James and Paul, Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom, prophets and priests. You understand? All that. All that. All right, let's drop that and go. Let's go get some more scriptures. Let's go to Hosea. We already in Hosea. Let's go to Hosea chapter 6. We see that the new covenant got to do with destroying the worship of Baal and peace. Weapons of war being destroyed out of the earth. You understand? Peace amongst the animal kingdom. That's what we heard. That's what we heard. All right, let's go back to Hosea. Let me show y'all something. We're going to go to Hosea, the 6th chapter. Bless up, clip up. I'm glad y'all getting some understanding in the building. So I'll praise to the Most High. Every last one of you brothers and sisters are special in the eyes of the Creator. You're his sons. You are his daughters. All right? Oh, this is crazy. All right, so we're going to go to Hosea. Hosea, the 6th chapter. We're going to start at verse 5. Let's show that. Let's show that. We hear the Millie mouth with you. side jaw, fat mouth. Nah, we ain't even play with you. Right to it. Right to it. And what you'll see is, okay, it's a misunderstanding or a conflict between these brothers and then these brothers. That's in the Bible. It's conflict. Conflict. All right. Now look at this right here. Hosea 6:5. Screen being shared. Yes, it is. Hosea 6:5. All right. Shout out to all the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. We love y'all too. Bless up. Hosea 6:5. Therefore have I hewed them by the prophets. I have slain them by the words of my mouth, and thy judgments are as the light that goeth forth. Huh? For I desire mercy. For I desire mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. This creator say he ain't even with all that. Who told you to do that? What he desire, he don't desire in the blood and the fat and the flesh of fed beasts, like we read in Leviticus. I desire mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of Creator more than burnt offerings. But they, like men, have transgressed the covenant. There have they dealt treacherously against me. Gilead is a city of them that work iniquity and is polluted with blood. As troops of robbers wait for a man, so the company of priests murder in the way. Huh? The company of priests murder in the way by consent, for they commit lewdness. Do you hear what Hosea is saying about these murderous priests? Because the sacrifice that they are sacrificing, y'all, are the animals. Yeah, we had wars amongst each other and all that, but that was talking about sacrificing. I want mercy. You know, you killing all these animals for? I'd rather you have the knowledge of the Creator than burnt offerings. What that means, burnt offerings is not within the knowledge of the Creator. It is not within the Torah of the Creator. Neither is sacrificing. He desires mercy and knowledge of Him, and not sacrifice and burnt offerings. That's easy. But he was like, but being that we are not doing that, we have dealt treacherously with this covenant. Look at that. And you claim we talking against the covenant. No. We actually for what the Creator instructs. You dig? And then it get down here to the priest. So the company of priests murdering away by consent. We got priests. We got blood, we got sacrifice. Jack, what we talking about here? We got priests, we got blood, we got sacrifice. What we talking about? The Most High saying, I ain't never wanted. You polluting the whole city with this blood. As troops of robbers wait for a man, so the company of priests murdering away by consent. Oh, we. So who are the victims of the priests? Y'all, we got to go back to the animals. Got to go back to the animals. Good night. Good night. I know. Somebody going to get mad at you, brother. But remember this, I love you anyway. All right? Let me show you what the prophecy is about and what we call these last days. Wow. See, we're supposed to be setting up the Creator's kingdom on earth. While we on earth, you're supposed to be setting up the Creator's kingdom while you're here. All right, this is what you're going to be doing. Yeah, Malak, look, I understand. You say that, right? And then when we go pull the precept that cuts that, then all you can, like, you at a crossroads, Malak. Because I got a precept that cut that. So if that's the case, then all you can do is decide which side makes more sense for you. All right. I got a prophet that cuts that the Lord ordained the sacrifice to give us about Egypt. A prophet, a very well-known prophet, says, nah, the Lord never commanded that. Where we at then? Brother, that just meant, bro, it said it wasn't commanded in Egypt nor in the wilderness. But Israel still did it. So who is it to if it was not commanded by the Creator? It's really that easy. It's really that easy. Huh? No matter where you go, we got an opposite saying that says otherwise, which means there's internal conflict in the Bible itself. That's why none of the camps get along. That's why none of the assemblies get along. That's why on every topic we divide, y'all, because it was put together like that. Keep you chasing your tail. To keep you in a place of uncertainty. So I go deal with the precept after I go with this right here. We're going to show there's a prophet that says that wasn't commanded by the Creator. But yet it's in the text. Peaceful latter days, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Most High shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Most High, and to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the Torah shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Most High from Jerusalem. Look at this, verse 3. And he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares. All the weapons of war will be converted to gardening tools. While you're on this earth, you're going to work toward establishing the Creator's kingdom. And their spears into pruning hooks. Weapons of war will be converted to gardening utensils. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Do y'all hear this? We're talking about peace. Look at this. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. For the mouth of the Most High of hosts have spoken it. So we see this right here. You see this? We see this right here. The knowledge of the Creator, the restoration of Israel, the new covenant. However you try to look at it, y'all, it has nothing to do with warfare, bloodshed, or sacrificing animals. Nothing. You understand? Now, will you find other passages in the scriptures that say it does? Absolutely you will. Absolutely you will. But see, trip off this. When do you get to the point and call a spade for what it is? There's warring traditions in the Bible. All right, there are scribes who are writing the Bible while who may have been more sympathetic with the northern kingdom than the southern kingdom. All right, that's why it's all type of conflicts and contradictions. Yeah. And here go Israel chasing their tail and hating their brother or brothers or sisters because you call a spade for what it is. That don't say the same thing, Jack. An apple ain't an orange. You can try to make it fit every which way. You know what I mean? You can try to make it fit, but you understand, Creator ain't down with none of it. And if he was down with it, then you wouldn't have nothing in there that even suggested that he was or wasn't. It would be explicit. It would show. You dig? So regardless of what anybody feel, we got the sacrificing that was not ordained in Egypt, and we got the sacrifices and burnt offerings that was not ordained in the wilderness. You got the Torah that was burnt by the time we got to Babylon, meaning whatever Moses wrote never survived or made it to Babylon. What you have now is a refurbished Torah that came out of Babylon under Ezra, but oops, you ain't got that either because that's 204 books. You ain't even got 100 books in your entire Bible. That's probably 204 books of the Torah inspired by the Holy Spirit. Where that's at? You ain't got that. Well, okay, well, after the Pentateuch coming out of the refurbished Torah coming out of Babylon, what you got? You got the Septuagint, which is the Hebrew history translated from Hebrew into Greek by 70 Hebrew elders at the behest of Ptolemy Philadelphus, 200 BCE, but that just so happened to be the oldest Old Testament in existence, or that's available to the public. It's called the Greek Septuagint. That's like 2nd century BC. So by the time you got the 1st century and you got the scribes, you got Messiah, and Messiah, and one of his main enemies are the scribes, those who are writing down, who have been given the authority to write down, interpret, and teach. They also are court officers of the court. Here he come teaching against what they wrote. So the scriptures are backdated. What you have is what was produced after the captivity in Babylon. And you ain't even got that. You got the Septuagint after that. And it was burnt again up under the Greeks, even though we had the Septuagint. The Torah that we had from Ezra was burnt up under the Greeks. That's 1 Maccabees 3 and 48. It's all burnings. So the Torah that you had today ain't even what Moses gave you. That's why it's important to listen to the master teachers that the Creator sends through and have his line of light on. You dig? And they come shedding that light, but it's totally against what the Orthodox is doing. Totally against it. People don't want to go. People don't want to deal with it. All right. Now the brother said the Most High ordained the sacrifices coming out of Egypt. And yes, in the biblical narrative, that's what it says. But it also says this. It also says this. And we got Passover being kept without the slaying of lambs too. Yep. All that's in there. I'm gonna pull that up for you. Pull it up for you next. All right. Yeah, I know you. I mean, you want to make it make sense. I know. But we don't perceive it like that. I used to, but it don't make sense. If you keep reading and keep going, it ain't got nothing to do with that. Creator never wanted. All right, now look at this right here. Make this make sense. Jeremiah 7:21 and 22. It says right here, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Put your burnt offerings into your sacrifices and eat flesh. For I spake not unto your fathers. For I spake not unto your fathers. For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt concerning burnt offerings and sacrifices. The Ark just said the sacrifices God ordained to get out of Egypt. Well, the Creator is speaking through another one of his prophets, a Levitical prophet at that. Jeremiah, daddy, a Levite. So he has a firsthand knowledge of what goes on in the temple, the bloodshed, the squilling, the scraped off fat, the chopped off heads, the burning of flesh. You know exactly what it is. His father Levi, father priest. And the Creator speaking through Jeremiah saying, I didn't speak to your fathers, nor did I command them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt. The day that we were brought out of the land of Egypt is Passover, concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices. It wasn't commanded in Egypt, and it wasn't commanded in the wilderness, according to Amos. But we were still doing it, so who was it to? I know, 23. But this thing commanded I them. This is what the Creator commanded us while we was in Egypt, saying, obey my voice, and I will be your God, and you shall be my people. And walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you. So the sacrifices and the offerings is not what he commanded. Look at this. But they hearkened not, nor inclined their ear, but walked in the counsels and in the imagination of their evil heart, and went backward and not forward. Sacrificing animal flesh is going backwards, because he didn't command it. He said, do what I command you to do. But we didn't do that, and we did what we wanted to do. So that's going backwards. That's not resurrection. That's falling backwards. All right, look at this. Since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt, but to this day, I have sent unto you all my servants, the prophets, daily rising up early and sending them. You see? So what was in Moses' original Torah, the prophets was telling you, had nothing to do with the burnt offerings and the sacrifices. Had nothing to do with that. Let me drop that. Let me show y'all an older version. Older version of 720. We're going to go to the Peshitta next. You say, boy, I'm surgical with it. Surgical with it. Let me show you that. So we got Jeremiah saying that wasn't commanded. Even though you read in Exodus 12, it was. Where you at? Try to make it make sense. Let me show you it don't make sense. Let me show you a little deeper. All right. Watch this right here. Watch this right here. And I can pull up also that Passover was kept without the lambs being slaughtered. I'll pull that up too. Sheet up first. Let me show y'all this. Now, this right here goes back to the 2nd century of the Common Era. All right, with the Masoretic text that you have in the Old Testament that we all have today. The Masoretic text is was compiled around the 10th century, like 1,000 years ago. All right, let me find my spot on it real quick, y'all. Let me show y'all this. Let me show y'all this Jeremiah 7:21 in the older Bible. All right. Let me see. I should have it pulled up right here. No. I want to show y'all that. I first read it and was like, dang, that's cold. All right, that's crazy. All right, hold on 1 second. Like that. Give me 1 second, y'all. Scroll on up and find this real quick for you. So we're going to read this Jeremiah 7:21 and 22 in an older version of the Old Testament that you had today. All right. Let's try to make it make sense. Try to make it make sense. BB, LMNOB. Where is it? Bow. Bow. Surgical with it. Surgical with this. Surgical with it. Hold on. Hold on. Here he go again. I heard the Millie Mouth Negroes now mad, spilling coffee. Don't get mad. Ain't my man. Look, ain't none of this my information. I didn't author none of it, Jack. All right, we just here to share with you little taste. All right, that's it. Because y'all came to see us sweat, not exchange fancy soliloquies. So let's work. All right. I'm going to come play around with you. All right, so Holy Bible, all right, from the ancient Eastern text. Ancient Eastern text. All right. It says George M. Lamps's from the Aramaic of the Peshitta. It's my actual book right there. All right, so this rendering is older than the Old Testament that you have in the KJV. The Peshitta is older than the KJV. Now, and this is Aramaic, the closest you're going to get to some Hebrew. This was translated out of the Aramaic. Now look at this. So this is Jeremiah 7. Y'all can see that. All right. All right. You see Jeremiah 7, right? Now let's go down. Let's show you how the KJV slaughtered this verse. All right. They straight left off half the verse. Look at this. Jeremiah 7:21 and 22 out the Peshitta, older than the Old Testament that you have now in the KJV. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, add your burnt offerings to your sacrifices and eat meat which I did not command your fathers to eat. What is we talking about here? The KJV cut off half that verse of 21. Eat meat which I did not command your fathers to eat. Where we at now? That lets you know he's being sarcastic when he say, put your burnt offerings to your sacrifices and eat flesh. He's being sarcastic. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, add your burnt offerings to your sacrifices. Meaning pile all of them together. Because a burnt offering ain't the only type of sacrifice, right? And eat meat which I did not command your fathers to eat. There it is. Creator never commands you to chew on animal sandwiches. Oh, brother, that's talking about the pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Slow down. Are you saying that the pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster is lawful flesh on the altar of the Lord? It ain't talking about pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Those offerings were not offered on his altar. Huh? Pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. So let's not add into the story. Let's not add to the text. Sacrifices is what the Brews run around and call clean meat, like lamb, like goat, like oxen, your cattle and all that. But right here, in this version that's older than the KJV, y'all, it comes from the Aramaic, not the Greek. It say flat out, add your burnt offerings to your sacrifices and eat meat which I did not command your fathers to eat. Bag drop. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Neither did I command them concerning either burnt offerings or sacrifices in the day when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. Creator ain't command that. So even though a brother say, well, hold on, the sacrifice in Egypt was commanded by the Lord, what he's saying through Jeremiah, I didn't command that. So who did? So who did? That take for you to get into some more histories. You know I ain't trying to scare you off right now and nothing like that. Now, well, one thing we ain't trying to do is scare our people. You understand? But y'all see how the KJV cut off half the verse? Y'all see that? Eat the meat which I did not command your fathers to eat. Where we at now? That's what I want to know. What's the argument now? We went into an older version of the Old Testament, the Peshitta, 1st, 2nd century, common era. Huh? And it had in Jeremiah 7:21, the verse is longer. And it boldly says that the God of Israel never commanded the flesh to be eaten. And these are the things they get mad at your brother about, because we become even more thorough in our studying and our presentation to the people. And we're going to slow you down. Hold on. When we dig a little deeper, something else is being shown and said here. All right. You know what I mean? Yeah, HICKMAN. I'm not, bro. Look, one thing you ain't going to get out of me is me telling you they never sacrificed. I believe they was. All right. You ain't never going to get out of me they wasn't sacrificing during the time of Messiah. I believe they was. You understand? The question is it to the Creator? Is it to the Most High? You understand? Once you start digging a little deeper, once you see the prophets is going against it, and then you get some of this Nazarene and scene literature, and you see Peter and them was teaching against it too. Like, nah, Messiah told us that was all problematic. You dig? And then once you finish with the Nazarene and scene literature, it agree right with what the prophets are saying. Right with some of the books I pulled out, they like the Most High never ordained sacrifice from the beginning. You understand? It's evil. We should know that by the quail we was eating till it came out our nose in the wilderness, and thousands of us died. We're not supposed to be chewing on loin meat, animal flesh. You understand? The prophets had a problem with the murder of these animals. You dig? And they let it be known that in Egypt and the whole 40 years in the wilderness, you understand, was not done to the Creator at all. And then it named the God. Don't get mad at me, y'all. It named the gods. It named Baal and them, didn't it? Didn't we go over that? It named Baal. It named Molech. It named Chion. It got the name dropping. It started naming the makeshift deities and gods. So while Israel arguing over DNA, you know what I mean, and 12 tribe charts and the role of a woman, and look, man, I'm here to hit the God body. Look, if it's the false gods, they getting put on notice. They got to go. Period. If it ain't got to do with the Creator, it's the enemy over here, and it will be shot out the water. All right, so we got the mingling of the worships of the gods of Canaan, even in the Bible. It tell you right in there, the day gonna come. The day is gonna come when the names of Baal will be destroyed out of your mouths. And that's a prophecy that's in front of us. You know what I mean? Straight up. It's all good. You dig? It's all good. Malak, the prophets already have a response. That's what I'm saying. Like, we ain't got to make nothing up. We just been, bro, listen to me. I've been reading. Look, we went to Amos today, Hosea, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Micah. You understand? The prophets is speaking against it. You trying to make it cohesive. You at the crossroads right now. I understand. I've been there. I know where you at. But how your name Malachi and all that. Malachi is Hebrew. It means messenger. I keep messenger. Malachi Maccabee, hard messenger. Hammer. Maccabee, hammer flow. I be cracking your streets. All right. What it is. No, he good. He good. It's just, I know where he at. He's at the crossroads. You dig? Eventually, though, you ain't gonna be able to play the fence too much longer. You got to choose a side and roll with it. And roll with it, Jack. All right, so that's it, Jeremiah. I want to show y'all the Passover out the Septuagint. Let me show y'all that real quick. You know, the Septuagint real quick. Maccabee, hammer flow. I be cracking your streets. You know what I mean? Okay. Joshua is in Joshua. I got the name Joshua in there. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Easy work. Right here is the Judges. Joshua Septuagint. Let's work. Show the Septuagint. Y'all, this is the oldest Old Testament that's available to the public. It's a Greek Septuagint. Now look what the Greek Septuagint. We're going to go over the Maccabee, Hammer Flow. No, that's the Peshitta. I don't know. Peshitta, put the Peshitta down. All right, here, let me share my screen real quick with y'all. You know what I mean? Easy work. Easy work. Steady dropping it. Blah. Blah. Okay, bang, bang, bang. Oh, I gotta go to the entire screen. Let me show y'all this. How do y'all keep the Passover if you ain't killing no lamb? I said, man, we done failed real far, y'all. Real far, we done failed. All right. This right here is the Septuagint. All right. Okay, this is Joshua 5's English on the right side, Greek on the left. This is Benton's Septuagint. Septuagint, I think Benton is the publisher. All right, now look at this. We go to Joshua 5, 10 through 12. This is how Israel kept Passover right before Jericho was invaded. Now we see what? It's a fleshless Passover. No lambs were killed. In the oldest Old Testament that you have available to the public, this is what it says. All right. And the children of Israel kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at evening to the westward of Jericho on the opposite side of the Jordan in the plain. And they ate of the grain of the earth, unleavened, new corn. And this day the manna failed after they had eaten of the corn of the land, and the children of Israel no longer had manna. And they took the fruits of the land of who? The Phoenicians. In that year, the Phoenicians or the Canaanites. The Canaanites in your Bible are historically the Phoenicians, even the Septuagint says. But notice what they ate for Passover. Did we read anything about a slaughtered lamb? Did we read anything about a slaughtered lamb? The lamb got slaughtered. You see that? No lamb was slaughtered. All the Israelites, see, what a lot of brothers don't realize is that all the Israelites didn't operate in Torah the same way. That's why it was different sects. Come on now, everybody know that. All right, everybody not observe the feast days the same way. And if we're going to hold us up to what we got in the wilderness, what we done read in the wilderness, that wasn't even to the Creator. That was the damn devil. Molech and Baal and all them. Like, man, hold on. Hold on. You see that? So we gotta, it's essential to know the character of the Creator, and the essential is basic. You understand? The Creator is all in all. Always was, present, and ever shall be. All right, the unbegotten. All of it, omnipotent, omnipresent, all powerful, sees all. All right, he's not limited. He's not weak. He don't make mistakes. He don't get off through bloodshed and murder, and he ain't sanctioning warfare. Right? The Creator uses different stratagems and strategies by his high-raised angels to protect and deliver his people. You understand? So yeah, once you understand the nature of the Creator, then anything you run across in any book, anybody telling you to wholly believe anything you run across that goes against the nature of the Creator, that does not line up with creation, then you got to question that. If you don't want to question it, that's on you though. But you're at the crossroads right now. All right. Notice that we have a Passover being observed without a lamb being slain. If y'all understand that, give me a 4 up in the chat. You see, we proving it. And again, y'all, this is Joshua the 5th chapter, 10 through 12, not out the KJV or the Masoretic text, but out the Septuagint, which is older than the KJV or the Masoretic. You see? See that? We done did the studies, man. You know, a lot of people don't want to hear it. They don't want to deal with us on the matter. But the fact of the matter is we thoroughly researched this and thoroughly got it in. You understand? Whether we talking history, whether we talking about older Bibles, whether we talking about the language, we showed that the Paleo Lashawan Kodash, the ancient Hebrew, is really Phoenician. It's Canaanite Hebrew. Didn't we just show that? We showed the fringes on the Syrian priests or Babylonian priests, same as on the, you understand, the children of Israel. We showed even circumcision in one of the videos, circumcision being done outside of Israel before Israel. See what I'm saying? We got the names in the Bible. The names of some of our towns are named after Baal. Some of the name of our sacrifices is named after him. Right? You got him pictured as a man sitting on a throne. All right, just like Osiris, they got the same headpiece. You understand? So it's a mixture. It's an amalgamation, right? And we read in the Bible where it's coming, where the names of Baal will be destroyed out of Israel's mouth. And that's a future prophecy. What that means, the name of Baal is still in Israel's mouth under the title of Lord. It ain't the creator. If it was, then guess what? Amos would have never told you. Amos told you that wasn't to the creator, and he named the gods. All right? He named the gods that it was to. So, again, our people got a problem with what we bringing out, but we bringing out what the prophets are saying. See, that's what we don't realize. Whatever we don't like, whatever we conveniently skip over, you understand? However we tiptoe through the tulips, however we do it, it still ain't going nowhere. And you still got to deal with that. You can try to make it seem like it means something different all you want, but one thing about the spirit, Jack, is when it's not satisfied, it's not satisfied. You can tell one of your devotees, oh, that just simply means the Most High didn't want that because we were sinning. You understand? But if it don't satisfy or quench his spiritual thirst, your devotee still gonna come looking. You understand? You might as well be real with him and say, yeah, I seen that. You understand? The reason why we say it's like this is because it is, but man, look, we'll look at something deeper. Check, let me know what you find out. See, that's a brother that's being real. That's a brother that's not trying to have people study up on his kneecaps in sippy cup mode with his chin in his palms, listening to everything you say. No, we critically think over here. We question everything. You understand? And what we're seeing is that the prophets, a lot of them, had a problem with the sacrificial codes, what the Levites were doing. And if you get into how the Bible was compiled, start with the Torah that you have today. Get into the compilation of it. You know what I mean? Get to the compilation of it. Then you start seeing, oh, okay, this stuff backdated. Stuff was added to give preeminence to the Levitical priesthood. And okay, now this makes sense. Dig? That's right, Roger Washington. He say there are commandments that was created against Israel. Yep, that's Deuteronomy 31, verse 24 through 27. I'm surgical with this deal. Tell HICKMAN do's this. He know we do's this. You understand? Oh, good. Matter of fact, let me read you something out this Nazarene Acts. Read you something out of that. I ain't got it. Do I got some of that in here? Let me see. What I got on this scroll I got right here. Let me see what I got. We can get on up out of here. I want to show you that the brothers kept pass. They all didn't keep Passover the same way, YAH'KI. Let me show my brother that. Surgical with it. I already had it pulled up. Let me show you that out. Good questions. But yeah, man, I'm gonna throw a Nazarene edition, pour 100 special edition or something, probably next week. Have everybody just, I don't know if y'all want to tap in, come on in, chop it up with us a little taste. You dig? All praise to the creator. Our enemies thought they was gonna shame us away. And we just kept bombing. We kept bombing until it was quiet on the set. Till it was quiet on the set. You dig? All right, for y'all that's looking, this right here is Nazarene Acts. I mean, the Nazarene gospel of the Nazarene. All right, chapter 6. All right, I'll show you. Everybody didn't observe the feast the same way. You had those of the higher law, like the Essenes and Nazarenes, who didn't chew on flesh. Right, look at this. And just like we just read in Joshua, the 5th chapter, in the Septuagint, they observed Passover but did not eat flesh. Let's deal with this. All right, let's deal with Messiah. And if you read the Gospels, he ain't nowhere on record eating flesh at the Passover. even in the Gospels. Right? They throw sushi in his mouth after he resurrected. You know what I mean? But once you get into that too, that's a whole nother breakdown too. I may do the fish conspiracy next Nazarene edition. Come on and show y'all the fish after, you know, the fish that he fed the multitude and the fish that he supposedly ate after he resurrected. Now look at this, chapter 6, right? It says right here. All right, it says right here. Now Joseph and Miriam, his parents, went up to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. So they did observe Passover, right? And they observed the feast after the manner of their brethren, who abstained from bloodshed and the chewing on animal sandwiches, lamb loins, and the eating of flesh, and from strong drink. And when he was 12 years old, Yahshua went to Jerusalem with them after the custom of the feast. So you see right there. You know what I mean? You see this right here? This right here shows you that Messiah. You understand? The Nazarene, they observed Passover the same manner we read that Israel observed Passover in Joshua the 5th chapter. All right? Because everybody, again, did not observe the Torah the same way. Everybody wasn't up under the authority of them priests. You see? So we showing, like, questions that get asked, what about Egypt? We go show Egypt. All right? Messiah kept Passover. According to our records, he kept Passover without the chewing on any type of lamb loin. Even in the Bible, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. The Passover, there's no flesh. He ain't chewing on no flesh there. I'm not saying lambs weren't being killed. I know plenty of them were being killed. Hundreds of thousands of them are killed every year. You understand? But if you deal with this thing from a historical lens, then you'll start seeing like, dang, right? Everybody ain't rocked the same way. Come on, think about it. John the Baptist was out in the wilderness. You think by himself? He was amongst the community in Qumran, the Dead Sea community, the Essenes. And they clearly were against the Levitical and the sacrificial cult that was going on in Jerusalem. Everybody didn't observe the same way. We was on different calendars and all that, bro. You know what I mean? So it's all good. What I'm saying is you asking and we showing. You asking and we showing. All right, we ain't just making this stuff up. We even showing you older Bibles than the one you got than you got from Family Dollar. That's Masoretic. More than likely, the Bible you got is Masoretic. I went to the Septuagint. I went to the Peshitta. Both way older than what you got. And they say something different. So where you at now? What I'm saying, if you want to have something scholarly, then, you know, be about that. That's it. Just be about it. Because questions get asked and questions get answered. And then it's still a problem. That just means you're not ready to see it. One thing we don't do is force nothing over it. All right? We even tell people, if it don't resonate with you, just keep it moving. It's okay. Everything will be all right. Everything will be solid with you. Everything will be cool. You understand? You just gotta get past certain things, but you'll get there. And then you realize, well, look, ain't nothing really wicked about what they saying. We ain't talking about shedding no blood, killing nothing innocent. All right, now trip off this. Since we know and understand that the sacrifices in the wilderness, since we understand that the sacrifices in the wilderness were to Molech and Sheol and Baal, we all know that. We showed it. It's too easy to show. We done showed it so many times, right? All right. The Creator said that wasn't to him. But you did carry the tabernacle or the Sukkoth of Molech. That's what you was doing in that wilderness. That wasn't to him. And we show all through the prophets. Isaiah, the Most High never commanded that. He don't even desire it. He asking you, who requires you to tread my courts? That's Bible, ain't it? We stay in the Bible with you. I'm saying, like, if you only deal with the Bible, I'll swim in the shallow with you. That's easy work. I did, look, pick your heart, whatever you want to converse about, we can get it in. You understand? But regardless of the matter, questions are still there. Well, let's go show. All right, let's bring that up to speed real quick before we even hit Leviticus. I'm gonna go to Amos one more time and show this. All right, we'll go to Amos one more time and show. All right, it's in the text itself. So regardless, our people got a problem with what's in the text. the contradictions. That's what you got a problem with. That ain't me. We just read. Amos is a prophet and he's in the Bible. Bro, say I read the Bible. I do too. I've read it plenty of time. Been teaching out it for a very long time. So you ain't saying nothing that we don't know about. You dig? Look at it. Amos 5:25. Have you offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? But you have borne or carried the tabernacle of your Molech, false god. Roll with Baal in them, and Cheon, another false god. Your images, a star of your God, which you made to yourself. So the question is, during the 40 years of wandering in error in the wilderness, were the offerings and sacrifices to the Creator? All right. The answer is no, it wasn't. And then it names the gods. Therefore, will I cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, saith the Lord, whose name is the God of hosts. Now look at this. We're going to go to Amos 5:26, and we're going to read that in a different version. Look at this word. It says no. Was that sacrifice and offerings to the Creator? No. Look at this, NLT. No. You served your pagan gods in the wilderness for 40 years. And that's where you got your Leviticus. Watch this. It ain't hard, bro. You just got to get rid of the pride. You'll see it. So he named the gods. Now let's go to Leviticus. Because the Creator said, I didn't ordain or command the burnt offerings or the sacrifice. So who is this Lord? In Leviticus, if we keep reading that the Most High never commanded it. We even read where Baal holds the title of Lord as well. You dealing with false gods fronting like they're the Creator. And got Israel arguing over this deal. All right. Now look at it. The law of burnt offerings. And the Lord called unto Moses and spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation. But you did carry the tabernacle of Molech. Saying, speak unto the children of Israel and saying to them, if any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even a herd and of the flock. It is. Jump down to verse 4. And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make an atonement for him. So this dead animal is there to make an atonement for your sins. So that's out the window. God ain't hearing us because we sinning, because this could be an atoning sin for you right here. All you got to do is bring something from your flock and make everything right. Huh? Or he wasn't hearing the sacrifices because we were sinning. That sounds repugnant. That sounds idiotic. Because the sacrifices, majority of them are there to get you back in good graces, according to the biblical narrative. This sacrifice, this burnt offering, will be an atonement for whoever's offering this. Look at this. Verse 5. And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord. And the priest, Aaron's son, shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Verse 6. And he shall flay the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. Look at this. Look at verse 8. And the priest, Aaron's sons, shall lay the parts, the head. What are we talking about here, y'all? That's a chopped off head on the altar of burnt offerings. That's a chopped off animal head, goat head. What are we talking about here? And you want to argue with us about what? That's righteous? That's a chopped off goat head, along with the blood, along with the rest of the fat, along with the rest of the flesh, the fat off the organs, all that. The hell are we talking about here? That's a chopped off goat head on the altar. No, that's not to the Creator, but guess who that is to? Yeah, that's the Baal in them. Yeah, they just fronting like they're the Lord, or fronting like they're the Creator. Look at this. And the priest, Aaron's son, shall lay the parts. Remember, they were told to flay it, cut it up, right? The head. You mean to tell me chopped head is on the menu? And the fat in order upon the wood that is on the fire which is upon the altar. Let me jump down to verse 10. Look at this. Look at this. And if his offering be of the flocks, namely of the sheep or of the goats, for a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring it a male without blemish. Verse 12. And he shall cut it into his pieces with his head. Look at this. The head. And he shall cut it into his pieces with his head and his fat. And the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar. Look at this. This is Leviticus chapter 1, verse 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Huh? Good night. 14 and 15. Look at this. Look at this. And if the burnt sacrifice for his offering to the Lord be of fowls, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or of young pigeons. And the priest shall bring it unto the altar and wring off his head. Y'all, we talking about head offerings. Chopped heads. Goat heads. Bird heads. Good night. Look at this. This is crazy. Leviticus 1, 10, and 11. And his offering be of the flocks, namely of the sheep or the goats for a burnt sacrifice. He shall bring it a male without blemish. And he shall kill it on the side of the altar, northward before the Lord. And the priest Aaron's son shall sprinkle his blood round about upon the altar. And he shall cut it into his pieces with his head. Y'all, we talking about a chopped off head to the God. What God? We read in Amos, Molech. We read in Hosea, Baal and them, the gods of Canaan. This was, according to the biblical narrative, this was given to you in the wilderness. Well, according to what we read in Amos and Psalms, none of that was to the Most High. That was to Baal and them. Head, chopped off heads. He shall cut it into his pieces with his head and his fat, and the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar. And it's talking about wringing off the head of birds and all that. Y'all, we talking about head shots. That's what we talking about. Leviticus 1 and 8. And the priest, Aaron's son, shall lay the parts, the head. They chopped the head off the ox and put it on the altar as an offering to the God, the Baal in them. Why you think when the Messiah hit the temple in Matthew, one of the things he did was let the animals free? He said, take these hence. Make not my father's house a house of merchandise or into a den of thieves. He made a bullwhip and drove everybody up out of there and released the animals. The animals were being sold for sacrifice. He came in there and did that during the Passover. Nobody ever talked about how he commanded for the animals to be let go. You see? He came through and delivered that. Here we go. Talking about, because nigga, we hungry. You see what I'm saying? So we got to get past that, man. We got to get past the Most High. The Creator is not bloodthirsty. He ain't angry and jealous. None of that. Everybody that go against him eventually got to come back and holler at him. Because in essence, you dig your own grave. You understand? Going against the Most High. We here bringing the higher Torah or the higher light, what the Messiah taught. And it was against all this, man. I was getting the bloodshed and the chopped off. Everybody on here know a chopped off head is evil. Stop that. Stop that. Everybody know I ain't lying. Everybody knows that a chopped goat head is evil. Stop that. You know what I mean? So we show where the sacrifices in the wilderness went to the false gods, and then we go show some of the sacrifices that was given in the wilderness according to Leviticus. And when we see a chopped off goat head, ain't that what we saw? Ain't that what we saw? A chopped off goat head? Ain't that what we saying? Wow. Well, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second here now. Hold on, Charlie. Hold on now. Now you starting to make a little sense, Mally. Hold on now. Chopped off goat heads? The hell is really going on here? It's starting to make a little sense, Mally. There's a lot of our people scared to come on outside and say what it is, man. It is. Now we be asking the brothers and sisters, would you kill your child or any child if who you call God inspires you to do so? That's a legit question that has to be asked. All right, that has to be asked. Let me show y'all this nigga Molech and Baal. I already showed you Baal sitting on his throne, the same headpiece as Osiris. Let me go show you this goat. You dig? And Molech wasn't just getting animal sacrifices, it was also human sacrifice. Do you got traits of that in the Bible? Human sacrifice? You know what I mean? Look at this right here. All right, let me show y'all this. Let me stop the screen real quick. Share screen. Look at this. It's your boy right here. The golden calf, the goat and all that. That's your boy, Molech. There he is right there. The chopped off goat head. That's an offering of Molech. Good night. Where we at now? Same golden calf that Aaron made in the wilderness. That's your boy. There he is right there, Molech. That's him. There he is. You dig? So the gods of Canaan, you dig, have had a major influence on the Israelite movement, even to this day. Why you think brothers fight tooth and nail over some sacrifices, man? You be like, bro, I'm just talking about the sacrifice. What is you angry about? You ain't even doing that no more anyway. You know what I mean? You ain't doing that no more anyway. Nobody's in no temple sacrificing nothing. So now I just come down to you being hungry and you feeling you got the right to eat it because you got Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 14. But even if you're going by the laws of the flesh, you're not going by that part in Leviticus or that part in Torah that says that flesh has to be processed and slaughtered according to the Torah. If not, it's considered offered to that guy right there. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? So we got to be careful and learn the character of the Creator. Learn that. You understand? That he's not bloodthirsty. He ain't jealous. He ain't angry. He ain't sanctioning you to go kill nothing. You understand? Because all belongs to him anyway. He don't need you to kill nothing. The Creator can just take your spirit. You dig? He's merciful. He's loving. He's kind. The judgment that you got to go through dealing with the Most High is what you brought on yourself. You understand? You bring that on yourself. You did. In other words, you build your own hell, basically. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, Mikael the battle act. Nigga, we hungry. That was one brother told me. I said, well, you ain't sacrificing no more, so why? So why is we chewing on animals? Nigga, we hungry. I said, okay, at least you being real, bro. You know what I mean? So it's all good. Just know the Creator don't move like that, man. The Creator is not sanctioning warfare, bloodshed. He ain't finna command you to kill no children, your wife, your children, any type of children. None of that. All right, when the Creator make a move, like when he had to bring the flood, you understand? It was out of necessity. It was because if this don't get cut down, then this cancer will affect this whole entire earth. So he did that out of compassion and mercy. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't like it ain't no judgments. It ain't like it's no torment or nothing like that. And what we trying to do is keep you brothers and sisters out of that torment by exposing the false deities and gods that many of us have been in agreement with, not knowing. We've been in agreement with the false deities and gods, the gods of Canaan. You know what I mean? And why is that hard to believe? You're married amongst the Canaanites. You grew your crops amongst the Canaanites. You got your language from the Canaanites. A lot of your rituals you got from the Canaanites, or AKA the Phoenicians. All right, which according to history was a great people. I mean, they was traveling on boats and all type of, but nonetheless, it's where you got it from. You know what I mean? And it's a very advanced, high-tech language too. Hebrew is very, very detailed and powerful. You understand? But nonetheless, even the fringes, the circumcision, like none of that's original. All right. So yeah, so it's not that hard to see that the gods of Canaan would have influence amongst the Israelites. Why? You live in their land, you speak their language, you dress like them in certain cases. You understand? The sacrifices in some cases are the very same names. Animal sacrifices and human sacrifice are allowed. You know what I mean? You got that in the Bible too. See, so it's all good, family. It's just like I would say, all we gotta do is just keep going, keep bombing, back to back to back to back to back, bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. You just keep doing work, and then all the naysayers, it'll be quiet on the set shortly. Because one thing they're not gonna do is outwork us. You understand? They ain't gonna outwork us. I guarantee that. Clip ain't long enough. You know what I mean? Your shelf ain't deep enough. It's just what it is. So all we gotta do is sincerely love one another, look out for each other, and just keep working. That's all we doing. Another day at the office. Keep working. Keep working and watch people steady reach out and apologize, and people reach out and be like, hey, look, what y'all talking about, it's changed my life. I actually done got healed from something I was dealing with, and I stopped chewing on loin meat and pig ear sandwiches, and you understand, and you know, I went back to the doctor, and I'm good. So I want to thank y'all. Look, all praises to the Creator. We salute every last one of you brothers and sisters in the name of the Most High. All right, so I just wanted to come on and slow down and talk about a few of these things. You dig? And that's always something that I'm down to do. We can always have a dialogue and chop it up about what it is, what you're seeing. One thing's for sure is that none of us will ever see everything the same way. So we got to learn patience with one another. You dig? Because there's many levels to the truth and many sides to it. You got one truth, you dig, but there's many levels and sides. So your perspective and my perspective will be different. Not might be, will be. It's just what it is. You understand? And it's for us to have patience with our brothers and sisters. You dig? And sit down and even learn from them too. Like what Creator's showing him may be a piece to the puzzle that I need to keep it moving. All right? To grow more spiritually. So just keep working, man. It don't matter what nobody else got to say. Everybody, shout out to all the haters, job jackers, and naysayers. We love y'all too. Like a lot of people got something to say, period. You understand? Running their mouth, jaw jacking. That's cool. That's what's up. But look, you ain't doing nothing but promoting us. That's what you're doing. And more people gonna say, you know what? Let me look up this brother right here. Let me look up this creator gang. Let me see what they talking about. And you come right on over here, boy, and it's like, dang. You understand? That's they talking everything righteous. We ain't talking about nothing evil. You understand? Like we could have learned all this stuff and hid it. You understand? Better a fool that hides his folly than a wise man hide his wisdom. Why would we hide wisdom? Nah, man, sure that. People need to hear that. Gang of questions. You understand? Dang, I ain't know that. Everybody's scared of Waspy right now, man. Look, I ain't gonna lie to you. I like what I'm reading. I really do. It's some daggers. Daggers. You understand? Major league daggers. But you know, everybody progresses in his or her proper season. You know, we ain't making you read nothing. You know what I mean? We just showing you. That's all we doing. We just showing you. We ain't making you believe what we believe, none of that. We just showing you like, hey, y'all, look what I was eating on yesterday, man. Hey, that was pretty good. Did you try that? Man, I ain't tried, bro. You need to try that. You tripping. Look at this right here. You understand? Look at this right here. And that's tight. Yeah, that's how we got to be. You know what I mean? So I'm forever learning and growing. And, you know what I mean? I pray you brothers and sisters on the same thing, but we never settle. You know what I mean? We never settle. We never complacent. But I am more peaceful in my spirit, though. I will say that I am more peaceful in my spirit. You understand? Way, way more peaceful. I already was, I already wasn't fidgety and, none of that. But I mean, I'm more peaceful. My perspective on things is one of peace. You understand? I don't be fighting over stuff that I can't change. Like you say in the Essene literature, the teacher of righteousness, he was like, look, water will fill that well again. Wells run dry, Jack. Water fill it again. You dig? Houses burn down. You dig? More houses to be built. Yeah. Stop worrying about that which is without you. Everything outside of you has nothing to do with the kingdom. All right, the kingdom is within. Yeah, we established the Creator's kingdom on earth when like-minded brothers and sisters come together. That's how you do that. We start sharing resources and having all things in common and truly living like the ancient Israelites, ancient faithists, ancient Nazarenes and the saints. Yeah. You understand? So that's what it's all about, man. Like me, I ain't afraid to look at nothing. Because I know if I read something that's off, I'm not, I'm just not dealing with that. Like if I read something like the sealed portion book, everybody love to talk about the sealed portion text and all that. But I read about a gay ass wedding in there that the Messiah officiated amongst his disciples. The disciples and Barnabas and all them was about to get married. It's Barnabas and Thomas or something. And the Messiah officiated this gay ass wedding. I said, man, I'm not even finna entertain this madness. Close the book. There's another book out there that I haven't read. A brother sent to me. It's supposed to be a Nazarene Bible called the Holy Megillah and all that. But the brother I know that read it, hard body, told me it's some gay ass angels. And I'm like, look, I don't do the gayness. I don't do that. You understand? To me, that's against nature. There's no production behind it. So I don't deal with the spiritual text that's big enough being a sodomite or being gay. I can't deal with it. You know what I mean? I don't even deal with any of that. You dig? So that's what it is. All right, y'all. I'm about to get up out of here. It's good to see y'all in the building. And there's plenty more. We got so much stuff to share. It's just like, man, that's tight. You dig? That's tight. And we just gonna slowly bring it on out. And then, just get it in. Right? And look, be men or be adults when it comes to understanding, man. All right. Be adults when it comes to understanding. All right. Not children. Don't be a sippy cup brew. All right. Don't be a sippy cup brew. You know what I mean? Don't be like that. You understand? Like we gonna talk like adults need to talk about, certain maneuvers we need to make and even understand that concerning ancient matters. Then come to the table being sincere and being an adult and understanding. You're going to hear plenty of things that you don't agree with. You understand? That's just what it is. You're going to hear things, you hear things you don't agree with every day. Right? Even amongst your Israelite family. Even amongst your carnal family as well. You hear things every day you don't agree with. Everybody know it. You dig? So stop all the playing and being, they're reading what? Like, boy, sit down somewhere. You understand? Thank the Most High. Ain't now one of you Negroes judging nothing. You Negroes can't even judge a toilet seat, let alone myself or let alone any of my brothers and sisters. You Negroes can't even judge a toilet seat. You understand? So all the millie mouthing and jaw jacking, okay, whatever, but won't none of y'all catch the fade? Won't none of y'all get down? All right, so it's just talk. It's just talk. That's all it is. All right. And I'm always down to have a convo and let's build and get to the bottom of it. All right. But never step to me like you about to force me to submit to your understanding. If I don't see it, I don't see it, Jack. And that's just what it is. All right. Everybody progresses at their own pace. Okay. All right. So I love every last one of y'all. All right. Peace to the righteous gods and the vanity. God has just created gang. You bring them, we raise them. You understand? And any, and anybody speaking against, the squad or whatever, talking crazy, we don't care nothing about that. You understand? If you don't know nothing about over here, we don't do nothing but drop bombs. Back to back to back. Y'all be like, man, will y'all stop bombing? We get it now. We don't care nothing about no, milk toast heathens from the Northern Ice Caps getting together and not liking videos we put up and copying our hashtags and all that. Everybody that listens to us know good and well we ain't sanctioning warfare. We ain't sanctioning bloodshed. You understand? We ain't sanctioning worshiping no idols. We ain't limiting the creator. We ain't doing none of that. Period, point blank in the story. You understand? What we speak on is just reality. That's real. Yeah, you need to watch who you talk about and talk against. Like, that's how the streets work. That's it. Man, there ain't no threats. It's just simple facts. Like, look, stop, keep yourself cool with all that, man. All right? If you don't want to speak about it scholastically, then just, smell your own breath. All right? All right, so all praise to the Most High. All right? Somebody say we following a false teacher, but been proven to be a liar, something like that. I mean, hey, you got a right to voice your piece. You did. But one thing we did do was we stayed in the Bible. We navigated right through the Bible. We showed extra stuff too that what was validating everything we said. You understand? So it is what it is. All right. And look, we know what the Bible says. We read the Bible. All right, we read it. I know what it said backward and forward. Been teaching it out of it for 17 years. So we know, you understand, and we know the scriptures everybody run to and try to put you in a skirt box. You understand? Like we don't fear our nuts roasting forever anymore. So there's certain things that need to be questioned. You understand? Like, all right, well, we read what God commands the slaying of infants and sucklings. But you don't read that and say, oh no, that's satanic, that's evil. Because you believe your God said it. Yeah. Yeah, but because we read about the vortex and the vortices and different work belts and a different alternative history to not only the earth, but the solar system and the heavens. Because we read that and get some fascinating revelation behind it. All of a sudden we false and we satanic. But meantime, we can go right into the Bible and show you satanic. We can show you great men being inspired by the devil to do things. We can show you a satanic ritual like a chopped off ox head. Hell is you talking about? We just read about chopped heads on the altar. So it is what it is, y'all. All praises, all glory, all honor. I salute you all in the name of Yahweh, the Creator. You understand? Learn his essence. Okay? Learn his character. Anything that got him sounding like Lil Willie and them down the street, anything that got him sounding like El Chapo, you understand? Dismiss it. Anything that got him sounding weak, second guessing himself, saying he can't see, he need to come down and see, and he made mistakes and he couldn't deliver Israel because the Canaanites had chariots of iron. Anything that limits the Creator, that makes him sound weak or short-sighted or makes mistakes or bloodthirsty or vengeful, guess what? That ain't of the Creator. And he never required it at your hand. He never commanded. He actually asked you, who told you to do this? All right. You see what I'm saying? So all praises, all glory, all honor to the Most High. Forever live the teachings of our Messiah in the heart, minds, and bodies of all you brothers and sisters. You understand that? You dig? He said it's not about a name. It's all for his name's sake. He spoke blasphemy. But damn Negro agree on the name or the pronunciation. What are we talking about? From Jesus on down to Yahusha. From Jesus all the way down to Yahusha. Huh? From God and Lord God all the way down to Yahuwah. Don't nobody agree. What rock you been living under? Playtime over. Don't nobody agree on how to pronounce the name of the Most High. Nobody. Everybody got a revelation. Everybody got some research. So it ain't about all that. No, it's about the character of the Creator. And look up name in Hebrew, Shem. Guess what it means, buddy? It means character. Essence. Name means character or characteristics. Essence. It comes from the Hebrew word Shem. So stop playing. You in deep waters. Stay over there with the guppies and swim. Out here you with the sharks. Just keeping it real with you. All right. Yeah, that's what we doing. We seek to create around her. But now you're not as knowledgeable as all of us. But okay, well, if you're not knowledgeable, then what you said about somebody being a false teacher, you need to swallow that and eat that. Take that back. Because if you don't know, then what you speaking on it for? Huh? Everybody do that, man. Look, everybody got a plan until their ass get hit. You know what I mean? Everybody's, oh, man, I can do this, and I'm going to pull them precepts, and then here we come straight forward. Bing, 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 bing. Oh, but I'm not knowledgeable as you are. Thanks for your time. Seek Yahweh. Come on, cuz. Stop that. Stop that. You understand? But you was real knowledgeable calling somebody fake. See, everybody got a plan till they get hit. He know, and the other brother Malaki and them know that ain't no getting around what we just presented. You can't get around it. You can't get around it. No matter what you go pull, that says opposite. You going to pull more precepts ain't going to magically make this say, you was worshiping and sacrificing to me in the wilderness for 40 years. That wasn't to Molech and Baal. That was to me, the creator. It ain't like the scripture going to magically say that. Scripture ain't going to magically say that. So what we bringing out ain't going nowhere. You still got to deal with it. All right? And we showed it was Molech and Baal, and we came and showed the chopped off goat head, and then we showed an image of Baal. He's a golden calf or a goat. We pull up sources from people who really study the Old Testament, like courses at Yale. We showed that earlier. We showed the pagan. Matter of fact, let me post that in the chat so y'all can see that. All right, the first one right here, or the second video we watched, is called The Stolen Canaanite Gods of the Hebrews. El, Baal, and Asherah, and a sharp. All right, let me put that here. All right. Come on, man. We got to be real with ourselves. Like a lot of our people taking this personal. And it's like, bro, we just going over the information. If you don't want to hear it, don't listen. It's that simple. We ain't making nobody hear or believe nothing. That ain't how we move. All right. We just sharing with you what we got. All right. And then this next one right here, y'all, is called The Pagan Origins. Oh, my bad. Nah, hold on. This next one right here is called The Pagan Origins of Judaism. All right. And it goes into the Canaanite gods and all that. You need to know that. You know what I mean? You don't want to be ever being played like a fiddle by these little fake gods. You crazy? Because there's a judgment for that. Judgment for that. You know what I mean? Right on Roger Washington made a creator bless you 100-fold.
The Canaanite people predate the arrival of Israelites by roughly 2 millennia. The Proto-Canaanites arose around 3500 BC
this is right here.
as a Mesopotamian.
Matter of fact, I may go ahead and just let that play out. You know what I mean? Let that play out one more time for y'all. We got a whole bunch of stuff, man. We ain't even brought anything out. You know what I mean? But it do good. It do good to for when people holler at you and just be like, you know what? You know what I mean? That right there changed my life. And that right there is the pagan origins of Judaism. The first video I posted is the stolen Canaanite gods of Hebrews / Israelites. El, Baal, and Asherah. That was a good one. That was number 4 minutes long. And then the pagan origins of Judaism. That's a good one. That's 22 minutes long. All right. So y'all add that to y'all repertoire. You know what I mean? Cosmon Cal in the building. Cosmon Cal. Bless up, King. Made up for what? Okay, bang. Bang, 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 bang. My question is, why would the false God say don't eat the fat or the blood? Why would they care if it's going against their enemy, the Most High? Your thoughts? Yeah, once you dealing with the unseen realm or the higher, you know what I mean? You know, the heavens just around the earth, what we call atmosphere or atmospheria. You understand? You got what we call angels, persons without bodies that's unseen to the visible eye, because it's vibrating outside of what you see physical. You understand? Now, to be ruling on that type of level, you can't be bound, you understand, all the way to the earth like that. So you may hear, you know what I mean, some false deities and gods throw out there about, you understand, purity of diet, because the level of communication is the same, period. It's just, is it a false god or is it the creator? The method of communion. You understand? And one of the methods of communion, one of the methods of tapping in is you got to purify the body. You got to stop making your body a graveyard. Stop, dealing with acidosis and dead animals and all that. Because you can't vibrate at a proper frequency to receive the inspiration. You know what I mean? Or hear anything that the unseen realm is saying, because you full of dead animals. That's why. Right? So a false god can come with a meal plan or a diet that's right and exact. You understand? Just like a false god can come in the name of who? The creator. You understand? Especially if a false god want to holler, make himself known to a certain mortal, then guess what? Yeah. He did. He can tell him switch up his so-called diet and what he put in his mouth, because guess what? The mortal need to be vibrating at a certain frequency to hear what's coming from the unseen anyway. And to vibrate at a certain frequency, the fastest way to do that is stop chewing on animals. So yeah, that's possible. If a false god can assume the name of the creator, a false god can assume a righteous meal plan or live it or diet for the sake of establishing communication with the mortal. I hope that makes sense. It did. All praises, glory, now to the creator, the most high. All right. Now it's all good, y'all. It's all good. Cosmon Cal in the building. My brother, hey. Here, matter of fact, let me drop the link real quick. Let me know if you want to come on real quick, King. Come on real quick. Cosmon Cal had a debate the other day. You know what I mean? Had a debate the other day, and he did his thing. The one computer kept messing up and dropping and doing all this type of madness, to where I was giving him extra time just to be considerate. And this Negro had the nerve to call me biased. I'm like, bro, I paused your time every time you fell off. You dig? I gave you more time. You understand? I did all that. You dig? So I want my brother come on in, Cosmon Cal, if you can, brother, and just talk about that. Talk about the debate that you had, a little taste, and what we got going on. You did. Then call me biased. I'm like, bro, how's you gonna call me biased? I gave you extra time. I paused your time. You did. You was nowhere near ready. Dude wasn't even ready, man. It was crazy. It was like, dang, what is going on there? You know what I mean? Like he didn't have nothing to present on the screen. The debate is based off of your presentation, staying on topic, and first and foremost, who can go into their holy book and bring these answers out. That's what the debates are based off of over here. All right, the debates is not based off running your mouth and talking. You know what I mean? Cosmon Cal in the building. Talk to me, YAH'KI.
Man, peace to the righteous gods and Nirvana and goddesses created gang in the house. Another great show, bro. What's going on with it?
Man, hey, I just want you to come on, bro, and just talk to the people. We ain't had a chance to do a recap about the debate or nothing like that. And I was just letting them know, man, that they look. I was being generous to the brother, and the brother still called me biased.
If you go back and actually look at it, his very first round was like 35 minutes long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because his phone kept dropping out. Excuse me, hold on. I'm out with the fan kicking it, man. You know what I mean? And so it kind of just dragged on, and you know what I mean? Every time he would stop, every time he would stop, you would stop the clock for him. You know what I mean? Just being fair. You dig what I'm saying? But honestly, in a debate, that's not your fault.
Right.
And
right.
You shouldn't even. And honestly, if I wasn't really about trying to help the people out, you dig what I'm talking about, I'd have just raised up the fact like, nah, man, it's not our fault that your shit keep messing up, and you know what I mean, and run his time out. And what could he have said?
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you drop off 6, 7, 8 times in a 15-minute debate, you know what I mean? That start to add up. You dig what I'm saying? That time add up, man. But you was more than fair with that, brother. So I think it's not right that he was trying to put that on you. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, he called us bias and all that. I was like, bro, look, I did more than, like, I didn't have to do none of that. And based off what the debate is based off of, that's what I was trying to tell everybody. Your ability to go into the book, which you did and he didn't. All right. He may have seen he was reading Ezekiel every once in a while, but okay. Staying on topic. Right. So we got book, staying on topic, and presentation. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, he lost every category then. He didn't present anything. Wasn't nothing up on the screen. You know what I mean?
And then he had two phones going at the same time.
Yeah.
Listen, I asked him the question, the very first back and forth was, using your Bible, show us the difference between a God, a Lord God, and a Lord. Yeah. This nigga Google, he went to Wikipedia and Googled Britannica and just read the definition of Lord.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It would. I ain't even want to get into it after this time. You did what I'm talking about, and then the sister came on, and you know she didn't even want to hear my answer. She was like, "I know your answer, Cosmo."
She came in there swinging. I was like, "Yeah,
You did what I'm talking about." But see, the thing is, when you're trying to back a lie up with more lies, it just causes more confusion.
Yeah,
you did what I'm talking about.
Instead of just saying, Cosmo, instead of just saying, you know what, that's a good question. I don't know if the Bible even answers that. I can respect a brother that say that, like, yeah, that's what I was saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it don't answer that. You dig? Instead of trying to wing it, don't wing it with us.
Right.
Keep it 100. It's okay. I've been wrong before. I can admit I've been wrong before. Hell, but this one thing I will say. Every time I found out I was wrong, I'm like, oh, hell no. Turn it, get off at the next exit, bust that ugly, get back on the freeway. We missed our exit 10 miles back.
Right.
When I find out I'm saying something wrong, I immediately correct it.
And I'm more in line with what you're talking about, because if I don't know, I'll say I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I'll give a precept about what I believe to be true. You dig what I'm talking about? But if I don't know, you dig what I'm talking about? Listen, man, the sister asked him, how does 8 people genetically go on who are kin to each other, go on and produce 8 billion people today? Mm-hmm. Impossibility. Instead of just but you got to understand they've been indoctrinated with this belief. You dig what I'm talking about? They don't understand that Jesus spoke in parables. You dig what I'm talking about? Right. Many of the prophets spoke in parables. You dig what I'm saying? And they did that because it was a truth and understanding that the people weren't able to perceive at that time. So they gave it to them in story form so they can digest it and still bring the truth and meaning out of the story.
Yeah. Same
thing with things like Noah, you know what I mean? Or that 7-day creation myth. But you know what I mean? It was a good debate, even though it was a lot of rambling and it was really disjointed, but that wasn't on your fault. That wasn't on STL humility, honor and humility fault. That was that brother connection.
Yeah, and he said that too. He said, I find it quite funny that my connection keep dropping. I have good internet. I said, bro, what is you?
He said that on the show, didn't he? He said that live.
I said, bro, what is you trying to even insinuate, boy?
Right.
But we over here, but like you coming with something so devastating that we'll play games and drop you out the chat and drop you out the live. Why? That was saying y'all don't even understand the stuff that he was trying to come with. Look, he said Capilla wrote the Waspy and all type of crazy.
Yeah, man. He was doing his Google search on the fly. He read directly from Google. And instead of talking about his book, he was trying to talk about mine, which he's never read. He's never seen in an Owaspy. He's never even looked at an Owaspy. Yeah. So trying to speak about my book when you have no understanding of my book just shows your level of ignorance.
Exactly, bro. So yeah, man, I just
Bro.
want to come on, let it be known. I believe what you brought out was very powerful, very
I showed
very thought provoking. Because strip off this, I be trying to tell people too. Look, Cosmo and Cal is very thorough when it comes down to history. You know what I mean? History in different localities of the earth. Whether you're talking about China, India, Africa, the Americas, the mound people and the mound builders and all that. This brother is very, very in depth and studied in there. I don't care if you want to talk about the Ice Age. The brother talking to you about the Ice Age. You understand?
And once you find out, once y'all really find out and get to reading that the Ice Age, the last major Ice Age, circa 22,000 years ago, or ended about 2020 to 22,000 years ago, was caused by the Great Deluge. It was caused by the flood. The thing that caused the flood caused the drop in temperature. What people don't understand is a god punched the side of a planet in. And the planet moves in 4 different ways. It accelerates, and it moves forward. It moves in its orbit around the sun, but it also oscillates. It see, north and south don't never change. This is gonna always be north. You see what I'm saying? But the planet spins underneath it, and certain times it does this.
Yeah, okay.
It rolls. The planet rolls, and for instance, like anybody go look this up. They found whole woolly mammoths frozen in Siberia, right? But once you understand that the woolly mammoth is a warm weather animal, it is a tropical animal, just like the elephant is today. It's a tropical animal. You dig what I'm talking about? And they found tropical plants still in the animal's mouth, unchewed and digested ones in his stomach, meaning that where he was close to the equator when he froze. But now he's in modern day Siberia. So that means the earth rolled to where he would move from the equator to now the northern places. And he was flash frozen. You dig what I'm talking about? And once you understand vortexia, and that vortexia and that energy is not hot, it's cold. This is why the North Pole is cold. This is why the South Pole is cold, because the weaker force of vortexia or toroidal force goes south to north. And so this is why we have the biggest ice cap on the bottom of the planet and a smaller one on top. But the emanations of the energy are dumped into the air or to the atmosphere of our planet, and they are called the aurora borealis. That is the emanations of vortexia. So this is why, and look, and y'all need to go look at this. If y'all don't believe it, the planet's going to roll again. The planet's going to roll again. We had a roll already. You dig what I'm talking about? But it's going to roll again. We already passed the 24,000 year mark from the flood. To 24,000 years came in 1447. So what happened in 1447? You dig what I'm talking about? Or in between, coming up to that time, that last 400 years, 1047 to 1447 AD, you dig what I'm talking about, was a great destruction in the planet. And they've been talking about we losing time and Tartaria and all this conflated mess. You dig what I'm talking about? But once you understand the creator and that these things happen, quote unquote, naturally, you know what I mean? That you can put it right on the timeline and then look back in time and see that something happened. You know what I mean? So that's the great thing about Owaspy. And hell yeah, I crushed Cuz in the debate though. That ain't even.
Yeah. Hey, look, let the people know, for anybody that's listening that ain't never heard of you, bro. Type in the chat where they can get in contact with you at. You know what I mean? YouTube channel and all that, man. Y'all subscribe to my brother, man. Subscribe to my brother. He putting a lot of major work out here. Just started his YouTube channel. Damn, they got 50 videos up already, man. You know what I mean? Major work. So
it won't let me.
where they can come holler at you, Cosmon.
It won't let me. It won't let me tap into the. Okay, hold on.
If not,
It won't let me
drop off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it won't let me. Yeah, when I do it when I drop off. But just in case, man, my name is Cosmon Cal, man, son of Jehovah, son of Iwata. You dig what I'm talking about? Son of Haonga. You dig what I'm saying? I'm just here to speak the truth of the Most High, man, and bring this stuff out. You know what I mean? And go on my YouTube, Cosmon Cal, KOSMONCAL TV. Cosmon Cal TV on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share. Go check out some of them videos, bro. I got heat. I got heat on every video. You dig what I'm talking about? I'm trying to get with y'all brothers. You dig what I'm talking about? And I've only been doing it about a month and a half.
And rolling.
You know what I mean? I never planned on doing this.
I said, man, this brother done dropped another one. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro, keep that coming, bro. You definitely appreciate it out here, man. Believe that, know that. You did. I'm about to go ahead and get out of here. Hey, man, I salute you in the name of the Creator, brother. Stand strong. You understand? Stay victorious and stay certain. That's for all you brothers and sisters. Stay certain. Stay confident in Creator. You understand? Look, the only power these false gods got over you is if your faith and belief is weak in the Creator. If you understand who the Creator is and your faith is rock solid, it ain't an unclean spirit that got nothing that can handle you or got nothing that can deal with you. Nothing.
That's right.
Going to the
peace to honor and humility. Peace to everybody in the chat, man. Thank y'all for supporting my brother Malaki, man. He be coming with that heat, don't he? Talking about them loin sandwiches.
Animal sandwiches and loin meat.
That loin meat. You dig what I'm talking about? Yeah, but we gonna get it together, man. Our people is coming together, man. And they gonna what they don't understand is that they've always praised the Great Spirit.
Yeah.
It is because you wouldn't praise God's Lords, Lord God, Saviors, Messiahs, that you've always been oppressed. They didn't praise you. They didn't oppress. Think about it. Why would they oppress you and y'all the same people praising the same God? They wouldn't have. Right. You're not the same people, and you wouldn't praise the world's gods and lords and saviors like y'all been tricked and duped into doing today. That's why they've always oppressed you. That's why they've always hated you, because their gods hated you because you've always and only praised the Great Spirit.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, y'all, we up out of here. Cosmon, I'm about to hit you as soon as we get up off here, brother. Abundant blessings. Salute all y'all in the name of the Creator. You understand? Creator gang, you bring them, we raise them. Shout out to my Nazarene scene, faith this brotherhood, sisterhood. Hey, y'all, we more than a family. We a movement. You understand? And we come in the body of the false gods, period. You dig? If it's attached to a deity, a god that's demanding worship, then it's our enemy, and we're going to shoot it out the water, clip up. To the
clip
next
up.
Bless up. All right, shalom, YAH'KI.